We would prefer to not have kids on the continuum of risk, if at all possible. But we recognize that's not possible because kids are kids, and there's many, many, many reasons why they choose to do different types of things. I started saying that, we wish, at least from the FDA's perspective, that kids were not entering into the continuum of harm, but once they're there, how do we care for them? And, our messaging is prevention based. And so we're trying, we certainly acknowledge that teens are teens and that they are experimenters. If we get asked a specific question by a teen, either a direct message to us or via social media about the relative harms of vaping versus cigarettes, we try to be as clear as possible that if your comparator is a cigarette, vaping is less harmful. But vaping alone, especially if you've never been a cigarette user, vaping alone is not benign. And so we try to give them that frame of reference. And what I would say is kids are incredibly smart. I'm sure both of these gentlemen, I'm sure, see that. And they have a crap detector a mile wide. Like if we were to message proactively to teens that vaping is not as harmful as smoking, there are people on both sides of that argument, right? Mm-hmm. One is you could just give them the facts and let them make the decisions. The other side of the argument is then you're getting rid of all the protective factors and you're kind of giving them license to use. And so, we have not tried to tackle that directly in any of our proactive messaging. But when we get questions specifically in social or direct message, that's when we have that one-on-one dialogue.
Right.
That eagle screeching is my favorite sound, but when it's like really loud in earbuds, it does hurt just a little. But anyway, hello and welcome. And how the hell has your week been? We're here. We're doing our thing. I see there's people here. Richard Pruin is here. He says that he can't sleep. So I'm going to try to make it a little boring for him so that he can get some sleep. I hope it, but I see that he's having problems doing, the webby, like smart guy stuff, which, I don't do. But Mallory's here and Tom and there's other people. I see David Lloyd and Troop is here as well. And our very good friend, Chris Big Knowledge Garland, he's in the room and he's hoping that he says, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Kevin, remember to issue a ticket for Big Knowledge. We need to fine him something so that he doesn't feel obligated. I want him to come because we're entertaining. I don't know. But anyway, Bruni and Omicidal are also here. And Andrew K. Owl, our friend Owl, is here as well. And some nerd named Vaping Links.
You know what? You don't mind that screeching. I don't mind the screeching from Kathleen. We know it's safer, but we don't want to tell anybody it's safer.
Well, so she says if we were to message to the kids that vaping was 95% safer than smoking, then that would give these very smart kids that have a crap detector a mile wide permission. And I'm like, okay, so are they stupid or are they smart? Because
we know they're smart. These guys know they're smart. They're very smart, but their brains are developing.
But they're so gullible. They're so gullible.
You know what? You and I both, I think, have at least average, maybe a little higher on your side, intelligence levels. And at 15, even at 15, I'd have said, vaping. Wait a minute. Do my sound effects. Is safer than. Well, then I'll just do that. Literally.
Can you move closer to your microphone?
I can move this close. Is this
That's
close?
Much better sounding.
Well, then I'll bring it over to me. How's that? Is that better?
Yes.
How am I going to get the victor?
I mean, the hum is still there, but at least I can hear you over the hum.
I'm not going to complain about a humming. Let's go.
The wife is not home from work yet, so I don't want to think about Hummers right now. But anyway, see, even Omicidal says Kevin is a little low tonight.
True.
See, louder Kevin, according to Steve.
Louder.
And I don't think he's doing the hashtag louder. I think it's because your volume is low for some reason.
Chris is on YouTube, Zippy. That's why he said that. Because he's been on Facebook. He's joined us on the tubes.
Who, Chris?
Yeah. He's probably eating chocolate. He's probably not
Well,
going to
I
share.
mean, it's possible. I mean, you know.
Tom,
Somebody's microwaving something.
They are. I can't stop my whole freaking life for you, Patrick.
You can and should.
It should. Dustin, slam that microwave just a little harder for Patrick for me, will you? Okay.
Now, don't break it, though.
Yeah, don't break it.
Don't break
Probably
it.
will,
You
too.
know, you can't afford a new microwave.
What are you doing?
He's making pizza rolls.
What are you making? What are you making? Hot Pockets.
See, that's the same damn thing as a pizza roll.
He's not even high.
That's you know,
Are we going to say stuff we don't normally tweet?
stuff that we
Zayed?
don't normally tweet. What?
Yeah, we're going to say what we don't tweet because we're, you know, somewhat censoring ourselves on Twitter, so we don't.
I do, but you don't.
I do. I barely use an F word. I bet you can't find 5 of them.
I've
Maybe
never
6.
used one. I've never tweeted one F word.
Well, I've never tweeted
Ever.
on the main page, I don't think, but the subtweeting I've done it a couple of times to
Never.
others.
Ever.
Owe
Ever.
him $5.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Oh
So
yeah."
try to collect that, buddy. So there was a tweet that I did want to show.
Oh, good.
At the start of our adventure tonight.
Is it my fault?
It is yours. It is your
Oh, it is
fault. Yes.
mine.
It says contrary to my
Contrary.
contrary to Patrick's belief, not Noir's belief, I wasn't smoking till I was 9. I had my tonsils out when I was like 5. Here's
Yeah.
perspective. Journalism is dead. I have the power of perspective. And then there's a pointless, irrelevant screenshot of nothing that's important because my response is the most important thing.
Thank God you've got it there right and ready.
So, I said, I doubt even you are positive about your age. They had yet to invent the calendar. With all the T-Rex attacks and propelling your cars with your feet, the calendar was not a priority.
Keep scrolling.
And then you said, I don't know much about driving part. I was still too young. Costello was driving. And some other old lady responded multiple times.
Cranky old broad and
I think
crabby old broad.
No,
She's the
this
crabby.
one, if we're going to, not to be insulting, did you see that Fig is in the
Fig's
Facebook?
here?
He's in the Facebook all by himself. He should come to the YouTube.
Without content, I hope he's got a hair still out of place.
Well,
That's what I'm hoping.
But yeah, of the vaping people that I know, Cigar Babe is like 150 years old. So
she is. Skip is cranky old broad. She is crabby old broad. She said it herself long time ago.
Well,
I
I would say crabby ancient broad.
That's between you and her.
Just saying. But anyway, I don't want to hurt too many people's feelings tonight, but it is Friday and I am cutting loose.
Yeah.
I am cutting loose. Fig, we actually are boycotting Facebook. We still broadcast there, but I have a general rule not to respond to anybody other than you in the Facebook, because the Facebook
and Nick,
they blocked like
and
8,000 comments. So we're sort of not promoting that outlet. But hello, Fig. Haven't talked to Fig in like a long time. But at least we're not being gate kept. We're not being gate kept in other platforms.
not yet.
Not yet. But I did have a friend that's well, not really a Facebook friend or not a Facebook friend, an internet friend who is quite famous,
You good
quite
friends.
famous this past 6 weeks because he is been broadcasting the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial thing on the
Oh yeah.
Facebooks, and he was actually named in several of the court documents as a YouTuber that like defamed Amber Heard. You know, the whole so there are, I know people that are currently being deplatformed in other places, but luckily we haven't been deplatformed yet. But and there is some YouTube shenanigans going on. Luckily, we don't promote products here. We don't link out. We don't, you know, other than what are you showing or what are you vaping or whatever, but we never put links to places to buy things in our shit, because there are people that are on Facebook that are getting their videos blocked or whatever because of linking, or they're getting their account suspended because of all that. So, you know, as a general rule, we don't put links to that kind of stuff in our show notes, and we do try to prevent, you know, other than our t-shirt store and stuff, we don't usually allow people to put links to websites in our chat room, just because of that purpose. And again, we also will not mention the virus or vaccines or any of that nonsense either, because that usually would also get us fucked over too. So anyway, enough of that nonsense. This week there were several. Kevin and I actually did share links back and forth, unlike like 2 weeks ago, and Kevin didn't send a single link, and I didn't send a single link, and we just did a show, and it still worked. Oddly enough, it still worked without any preparation at all.
Well, the reason is because when the moon is right and hairs on Fig's head are just lined up correctly, we can do that.
Yeah.
That's how that works, yeah.
Yes, and that's another thing is even if I held up a product and their website was on the label and it was visible,
yeah,
people were getting their videos dinged for that too. So yeah, we don't normally do that at all anyway. So I think we're fine. But you know, if we do get disappeared off of YouTube, you know, there's also a Twitch channel. There's also a Twitter, and you know, Facebook is the last option, but it's still there. I'm still trying to figure out other ways, but the idea of putting our video content on our own platform has still priced us out. We are priced out of that arena because it requires significant amount of data hosting and all sorts of stuff. We don't have that kind of money, so we're stuck to where we're at. But anyway, I'm going through, and there were some of the links that you sent, Kevin, that I did gatekeep.
Yeah.
I either thought that they were irrelevant or
that's all right.
Other reasons that you and I discussed behind the scenes. But one of the links that the very first link that you sent literally right after we stopped last week's show, I had actually opened on my screen for last week.
Oh, had you? Okay.
But we didn't share it.
All right.
We didn't talk about it because I'm always paying attention to the American Council on Science and Health, and specifically Cameron English, because he's written significant amounts of stuff about vaping since he's a vapor.
Yeah.
You know, he is a vapor. But there was a paper out last week discussing scientific bias at FDA when it comes to vaping. And Cameron covered it for the American Council on Science and Health, which I have found out since we started promoting this website that it is apparently funded by tobacco company stuff, which doesn't matter to me as long as the information that he is relaying is sound and scientifically based. I don't care who pays for it.
No.
Yes, the American Council on Science and Health is apparently a tobacco-backed thing.
Wow.
Somehow, I don't know how, but Charlie said that was. So I have to believe.
Okay.
I have to believe what Charlie says because Charlie knows things. But anyway, so study raises questions about anti-vaping bias at FDA. So a new study sheds light on a worrying trend at FDA. The agency appears to be funding low-grade vaping research and using it to justify strict e-cigarette regulation, which we already know, but it's good when somebody else points it out. The healthcare costs attributed to vaping are already substantial and likely to increase. So concluded the authors of a study just published in the Journal of Tobacco Control. The Journal of Tobacco Control? Is that spelled with like the way you like to spell it, with a capitalized C-O-N?
Yes.
They based this conclusion on the results of a model that compared the self-reported vaping habits and healthcare consumption of a few thousand participants from the National Health Interview Survey, NHIS. Exclusive use of e-cigarettes generated $1.3 billion worth of healthcare expenditures in 2018 alone. How? How can you calculate that?
Have I seen the lines where they've shown this was caused by smoking and this was never? I can't find it. I've looked, I can't find it.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how they can say that e-cigarettes generated $1.3 billion in healthcare expenditures ever.
Because
how can they do that?
I know how they copied and pasted the cigarette claims, and they just added e-cigarette rather than cigarette. They put an e-dash in front. That's it.
Literally, I mean, okay, so vaping-related e-cigarette bullshit, whatever, the e-Valley or VIA, whatever. I know they changed the name, but it's still kind of mostly known as e-Valley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't even be blamed on e-cigarette usage.
Well, they don't know enough.
So how are they able, because the vast majority of healthcare expenditures for people that vape are probably, yes, I know, and Kevin won't stay close to his microphone, Addy. I don't know what's going on with his shit over there today. Is there a volume control on your microphone?
There's a volume control in my settings, but no.
Well, go to your settings and turn your mic settings up.
Let's see here.
Because I can't control that shit from over here.
There, it's at 100%. Is that better?
Oh my God, that's worlds better.
You said you control it.
I can't control your no, but you are
there.
Go down to like 90.
All right, hold on.
Because you're hitting the static there.
There. That's down a little. That's down just a little more. And that's half right there.
Half of what?
Well, it's actually 2, but I said 1. That's 104. And that is 200 right there. So you want me to go down to 100, right?
Yeah, go try 100, yeah, because I'm hearing you peek out.
There. 1, 2, 3. Test.
So
I don't
yeah,
even like you. There you go.
Well, I know that, but yeah, we'll get over it. We'll get over it. But anyway, so this study is concluding that vaping somehow costs $1.3 billion in medical expenditures in 1 year.
Patrick, if they knew true, I don't know what the hell that was. If they knew this and it were true, wouldn't we already have said, okay, they're just like cigarettes? Even us.
Yeah. Said, I mean, if there was any way to track that, literally, I'm not saying everybody, but the vast majority of people that smoked or that vape are smokers, people that smoked. And there is a story later on of a guy who smoked for 30 years, and he says, and then he vaped, and then he says, "Oh, I got cancer. Don't start vaping."
Oh, they don't know enough. How do they not know enough? And they've known this. How do they? What? Hey, bastard is right. Copy and
I'm
paste.
kind of confused.
It's just another way for them to manipulate the mass.
Manipulate the masses. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Let's do some social engineering, Kevin. That's what we're looking for.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, anyway, the study. Oh no, I moved my mouse here. Let's see. Yeah, the study had several critical flaws, as my colleague, Dr. Chuck Dinnerstein, noted. The most serious thing, the assumption that e-cigarette use would negatively impact an individual's health, and that this negative impact would increase utilization and costs. The authors assumed that they would have demonstrated. So now they're making a statement that it did cause $1.3 billion, but then they're making assumptions. So it's not even a fact of did, it's could. It's those modal verbs that you like to use, Kevin.
It's make, could, might. There's no way that they can assume anything when they don't know enough, first of all. So
yeah,
that's it.
So that's especially troublesome because existing evidence suggests that vaping is far less harmful than smoking. Instead of boosting healthcare expenditures, e-cigarette use probably reduces the amount of money spent to treat sick smokers. In sum, the tobacco control paper is terrible, a baffling piece of work, as Peter Hayek, director of Tobacco Dependence Research Unit at Queen Mary University in London, put it. Did you see Jeffrey Zamora snuck in as well? While the research itself is scientifically suspect, two other troubling details have come to light in recent days. First, the FDA paid for this low-quality study, then publicly denied any involvement until the paper was published. Second, the agency's actions appear to reflect a broader effort to shape the peer-reviewed vaping literature, then use it to justify excessive e-cigarette regulation. So the paper came out and people asked and they said, oh, no. We don't have anything to do with that. And then once it gets released from preprint to peer review, then they'll say, oh, yeah, we paid for that. And look at our wonderful science.
So in my opinion, and this is fifth hand, so in my opinion, it smells like Glance's ass on a
Are you
day.
walking around smelling Glance's ass?
No, it's fifth hand. But all I know is if Glance were to write something, this would be his forte, and since he doesn't, or pretends he doesn't, this has probably been fed to the other organization out in Cali, where Ed, the old bastard, is, by the way. Richard, you still awake?
God knows where he could be anywhere now. He's not, he's not on anybody's full-time payroll.
He was over there grabbing ass with the PAVE ladies, so that's a good thing, or it will be. I can't remember.
I would keep my children away from the PAVE moms. Should be
away from the guy. Parents
versus Glance.
That could be a thing.
PVG. PVG.
Dumbass. What? So.
What?
Oh my God! Figs in the YouTubes.
Oh dear God, he moved over.
Smash and hit that like button.
Oh dear Lord. I need to make one of those little videos where the like button and the we need those subscribers.
Everybody
we need
that
to get
loves Fig's
1,000 subscribers.
Yeah. Everybody that loves Fig's hair should hit the like button.
Well, it's been so long. He may have shaved his head. We don't know.
No. He knows better, man.
He hasn't been hanging out with us. His hair could have fallen out.
There's no way he cut his freaking hair off.
No, but he is getting older, and sometimes your hair comes out when you get older. Look at Tom Morowitz.
Lift up your little hood there.
I have hair. Here it is.
I have hair.
It's gray.
That's not gray.
It's gray.
It's short right now, but it ain't gray.
You shave it so that and then you paint the bald areas red.
Oh, yeah, I got a spray can.
What was that shit called?
I
They had hair. They had the hair in a can that you could spray all over your room. Remember that?
Oh my
But Frank
Oh,
Bayens,
Frank.
he says conclusions. Usual flavors used by youth vapors in the United States were unchanged after 2020 restrictions on cartridge-based e-cigarettes.
Not tea. Not tea.
Used brands and devices exempt from restrictions. Naughty. So what you're saying is your bans don't do anything. Is that what we're saying, Kevin?
Yes, basically that's what it means.
That your bans don't do shit.
That's right. What though? These
So
bans
this is the American Public Health Association. This is who's publishing this, and it says e-cigarette flavors, devices, and brands used by youths before and after partial flavor restrictions in the United States, Canada, England, and the United States, 2017 to 2022. Now, as this is your fault, this is one of the things that you sent the link to. It says the objectives were to examine the impact of U.S. restrictions implemented in February of 2022, prohibiting flavors other than menthol and tobacco in cartridge-based e-cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
So we analyzed 5 cross-sectional waves of the International Tobacco Control Policy Evaluation Project Youth Tobacco and Vaping Survey. That's a lot of words for a survey. Conducted online with youths aged 16 to 19 in the United States, Canada, and England for differences in usual e-cigarette flavor, device, and brand reported by past 30-day vapors. So that was 9,512 before 2017, 2018, and 2019. During 2020, February, and after the implementation of U.S. flavor restrictions in August of 2020. So the results say in August of 2020, 78.7% of vapors in the United States in those age groups reported using a flavor prohibited in cartridges or pods versus 86.3% in Canada adjusted. And I didn't know that there was anything that was banned in Canada flavor-wise, but okay. And didn't this thing say right here in the objectives, this was U.S. restrictions? Why are they even talking to Canadians and the UKers for this purposes of this documentation?
I don't know.
It seems outside of the scope of the goal of their little research paper here, Kevin.
Comparison, I'm assuming.
It specifically says U.S. right here.
I know it does at the bottom. It's insane.
Yeah. So anyway, disposable e-cigarettes exempt from flavor restrictions increased to greater extent among vapors in the United States, 13.2 to 36.8 versus Canada. The Canadians doubled as well.
Yeah.
Percentages, and then the Englanders, they only went up 6.6% or whatever, and they went to Puff Bar, which is, it's really odd to me that they're even. So who are they blaming for this, Kevin?
Well, the kids.
If these are,
we blame.
If these are people that are aged 16 to 19,
yeah,
shouldn't the study be based on the fact that they're already breaking the law for trying to?
I did. Boy, your mic's just acting up. What did you say? They're what? Breaking the what?
Breaking the law. Breaking the law.
So access. Jesus.
What are you blaming Jesus for? Why are you blaming Jesus?
All I know is, if it was unchanged, it stayed the same.
Well,
how could that be?
And I don't if it says I hardly hear about that particular brand anymore.
Right.
Puff Bar mentioned right here in the article.
There it is.
But there are a billion other brands that are available under the counter in most of your convenience stores.
Yeah.
And I have been to a local vape shop in the last while, and there are 5 or 10 or 15 other brands that are available in vape shops now too. That are, high capacity. They advertise the number of puffs right on the box. How many puffs? Like 5,000 puffs or whatever, right on the container, the packaging or whatever. So yeah. And I really, I can't. Well, I can actually. I can complain that people that are being attacked and demonized, called drug, compared to drug dealers and cartel people, and you're targeting our kids for your poisons. I can understand at some point where they just give up and start selling the shit, but it does make everybody look bad. And there are vape shops closing left and right all over the place. So and a lot of them are turning into like mixed goods stores, whether they sell glasswares, or some of them are becoming tobacco, cigarette shops.
I get it.
CBDs, the CBDers. Some of them have become hemp world.
Get jobs.
I've seen it. So I can't. I feel bad. But my local cigar shop also turned into a hemp store now.
Oh.
I spent literally thousands of dollars in there over a year, 2 years, buying premium cigars, and now they're a hemp world or hemp something store, and they're no longer they don't sell cigars anymore. But yeah, it is a little depressing.
At all? They don't sell any?
No, the humidor is now like a hemp product booth or whatever. Yeah,
That's no fun.
The pandemic really screwed up places where people socialized.
Right.
And when you go to the cigar bar, you go and hang out and have a drink and smoke a cigar. But when you can't do that, they have to look for other ways to make money. But there's a lot of like suffering. There's a lot of suffering people are going through. But I started to show you this video. So we talked about multiple times. We've talked about tobacco control, victimizing communities of color. We specifically talked about the one of the tobacco control organizations spending millions of dollars targeting Native American environments here, Native American communities. And I found a video this week that is also targeting a First Nations group.
Kia ora koutou katoa. You've probably heard the claim that vaping is 95% less harmful than smoking. But where does that actually come from? And does it really stack up? This claim is usually traced to a report by Public Health England way back in 2015, but they got that figure from research a year earlier. A bunch of experts tried to compare different nicotine products, from cigars to cigarettes to old school snuff, giving each a harm score out of 100. Cigarettes were rated worst at 99.6, while vaping scored a 4. But the researchers didn't just look at the health effects, they also looked at the product's contribution to international crime and deforestation. And they admitted there wasn't much hard evidence about these harms. So, that 95% figure is not an accurate assessment of the health harms of vaping versus smoking. Everyone agrees that vaping is less bad for you than smoking, but it's not harmless. Lung specialists here in New Zealand say vaping can damage the lungs and e-cigarettes should not be used by children or non-smokers. The Health Ministry says vaping is significantly less harmful for your health than smoking, but it doesn't agree with the claim that it's 95% less harmful.
I found my headphones went out on me, Kevin, again. But I got them back on.
Oh, good.
I got them back on.
I'm thinking that 95% is wrong as well. I think it's more like 99.
I think it's like 98.3.
Let's make it
I think it's 98.3.
98 point pi, whatever that pi thing is, 3 something, whatever.
Yeah, but here we have the FDA admitting on stage at a conference that they know for a fact that vaping is safer than smoking, but they will not message that to the general public or kids in general unless they ask a direct question on a one-on-one basis.
Right.
What does
that tell you?
What did the woman say? That their entire messaging is not on a proactive harm reduction thing, but it has been completely focused on prevention, on abstinence, on just say no. Literally the war on drugs tactic.
Yeah, it is. And she's from Truth. She's got Truth connections. So let me ask you a question. You and I are sitting in a classroom, and we both raise our hand. And I say, what's the capital of the United States? And the teacher says, well, I can't tell you that right now because everyone else is listening. But if you get with me after class, I'll let you know. But you had your question was the same. The fuck is wrong with people?
So what we need to do is get every kid in America who are very smart and have a poop detector a mile wide, according to the FDA woman, to individually call FDA on a one-on-one basis and ask the question, is vaping safer than smoking?
Oh my God. If my grandson says, where do babies come from? Now, I'm not going to give him the exact detail, but age-appropriate answers, right?
Well, I mean, really, what harm is it if they put out PSAs that said, hey, kids, vaping is better than smoking, but it's still illegal for you to have it.
So we don't condone it. Just disc.
Smoking is bad, and those are illegal too. And we know that you're going to experiment because, again, in that video that I played at the beginning of the show, the woman admitted twice in the same presentation that we know kids are going to experiment.
Right.
It's your fault that kids naturally experiment.
If you have a bicycle, it is dangerous if you don't wear a helmet. We didn't wear helmets. Did you wear a helmet? I didn't wear a helmet.
They didn't even manufacture helmets when you were a kid. What are you talking about?
And it shows. So today, well, helmets are safer, but we're not going to tell you that.
Now, I mean, really, when you were a kid, if you look at the NFL helmets when you were a kid, they were made of leather, and they had that was the helmet for when you were a kid.
They had helmets eventually.
Pilots back in the bi-wing days, they had leather hats that they wore. That's the helmet of your generation, Kevin.
All I know is if you're sitting in a class and you're asking about condoms, in the 80s, the Surgeon General had it was a woman, and there was some troubles. So I don't recall the troubles and whose side she was on momentarily, but there was troubles, and they didn't want to have kids. They didn't want to have kids having sex. Now, really, you're not going to stop that. That's not even.
I'm just surprised that you can even say the word condom.
Barely.
Your generation, they were made of animal foreskin.
It was embarrassing, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And the smell and all I know is how do you lie to the children? You're lying to the kids to get them to do something you don't want them to do. But
Well,
they're very smart, just like both of these gentlemen can tell you. They are
I mean,
very smart.
Kevin, when you were a kid, they told you would go blind if you did that.
They also told me a lot of things, and I never did go blind.
Yeah. So,
They freaking lied to me.
so yeah. So there's a new thing out here. There's another paper. Let's talk about another paper.
Our generation Fig.
No, Fig is at least a decade younger than you, and I'm a decade younger than Fig.
His
So
hair is a decade younger than me. Come on, show it off. Let's go.
all right. So I blame this link on you as well.
That's fine. I don't care.
This is from the what is this? UC University of California, San Diego News Center.
Yeah.
And this says 1 million youths became daily tobacco users. Most use Juul e-cigarettes. Increase in tobacco use among underage U.S. youths parallels the 1990s epidemic before tobacco control policies were implemented. So you're telling me that there were no tobacco control policies before 1990, Kevin?
Evidently. Allegedly. I got my own.
I remember that there were policies and there were things in place, and you had to be 18 to buy them before 1990, and they had the warning labels on the side before 1990.
Yeah,
the Surgeon General happened in like 1960 something.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sure that there were tobacco control policies before 1990.
They were very loose, though. They were extremely loose.
So
tobacco-free kids.
And they weren't allowed to advertise on TV and stuff after a certain, date.
Till 71 or 3 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So it says here, more than 1 million United States youths aged 14 to 17 years old in 2017 became new daily tobacco users within 2 years by 2019. So I have to ask, though, because I could have sworn that I saw numbers from one of these tobacco control asshole groups that said that there was something like 25 or 30% of all kids. No, 53%. I remember now. 53% of all kids in schools today are addicted to nicotine, Kevin.
53. I recall that. I don't remember who it was.
I do believe that that's more than 1 million kids.
I think it is.
So are they getting their lies confused, Kevin?
Yes. Including this one.
So it says by 2019,
right,
more than 3/4 of these youths were vaping e-cigarettes daily.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's 1 million, so they're saying that 750,000 youths in America are using e-cigarettes daily.
Yeah.
Now, considering the population number, and there's got to be millions and millions of kids in school in the United States. I would have to assume
there are.
That if only 750,000 of the global number, I mean the huge giant number of kids that are kids in the United States in school, I have to think that 750,000 of daily vapors. I mean, not that I'm promoting any youth use. I don't want anybody to say that they think it's okay for kids to vape on that Son of Liberty radio show. But I would say
I'd
rather them not smoke.
I want to direct them straight to Kathleen.
Yeah.
Send your
So appearing in the May 30th, 2022 online edition of Pediatrics, University of California researchers report that Juul Labs disrupted the e-cigarette market when they introduced the first high nicotine e-cigarettes, a sleek product with candy and fruit flavorings.
Yeah.
So again, they really need to quantify this high nicotine thing, because in 2019, when they started this survey and I was telling people I was vaping 18 or 12, they would have called me a high nicotine vapor.
Yeah, they don't even know what's in it.
Well, they don't. They don't. They also don't bother to look at the paperwork that's filed with the FDA to tell them what's in it. Yeah. So, and they didn't introduce candy and fruit flavorings. Not that I'm again backing Juul.
Didn't they only have like 6 or 8 flavors to begin with?
Oh no. There was a time when Juul had a website full of flavors. You had to order the pods directly from them. But there was a time that they had maybe 20 flavors. There was a bunch of them. And some of them were like seasonal and limited edition flavors and all.
There's a point to this. You don't even have to read the rest of it.
Please don't. Yes, please come with. I don't want to read this.
Good. The point of it, Bruni already got it. Bruni's already got this. The FDA said when they released the numbers, we do not want you to compare our numbers today with any past numbers. So that gave them carte blanche to regurgitate past numbers on purpose.
Well, I don't even know why they're talking about Juul, because literally no kids are using Juul now.
I don't know.
I mean,
you
sad fact of the matter is Juul is. I mean, they're in deep danger. They lost their youth demographic because they're all on other shit now.
All I'm hoping is that somebody in the crowd and the Thunder Down Under did it. Just went, hey, wait a minute. That's exactly right. I think you can blame me for at least one more. Yeah. And that's where I got that link from.
So Dr. Foulds, and I did see people bashing Dr. Foulds this week, Kevin.
I've had my moments with him. I don't think I've bashed him.
But there were people attacking him on Twitter, and because he said he tweeted something that was relatively negative about and promoting it was the fucking nicotine reduced nicotine cigarettes, the VLNs.
Oh, okay.
And people got on his thread and started bashing VLNs. And he said, no, the goal is to be able to offer these and e-cigarettes to help
then
people,
everybody are friends.
Blah, blah, blah. but people, he didn't say that in his original tweet.
Okay.
He was promoting VLNs.
Did I bash
The only
him?
reason I remember this now is because I replied to somebody that was like preaching at the altar of VLN, and then I looked at his profile. He'd had his Twitter profile was like 3 or 4 years old, but he had like 25 tweets.
Is it Dennis?
And every one of them was about 22nd Century and VLNs.
Yeah,
So
Dennis,
I replied, hey, are you an employee of 22nd Century, an investor of 22nd Century, or a bot?
Or maybe he could be a user. You don't know. I don't know.
No, there's no users because I haven't seen them anywhere. And
they're in Chicago. You duck a bullet and then you can get one. Right?
well, that's if you want to.
Do that. Listen. After talking to Dr. Glover and watching, of course, I'm biased because you can quit with a cigarette, so that's just automatically to me silly. But let's pretend it helps 5 people quit a week. Who cares? If it helps 10, I don't know. I really, really don't believe it's going to, but it's okay. What they want. It's Dennis, isn't it?
Yeah, so here it is. Dr. Foulds comes out with reducing blah 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 blah, and right. Jeff goes blah blah blah.
Go back up.
What?
Reducing. Well, first of all, he's quoting the article. First of all,
yeah,
he didn't say it. He's quoting it, kids. So careful. Now, I hope I didn't bash him because I don't remember even seeing this.
I don't recall that you had anything to do with this. So Jeff goes on here and says that people will just smoke more, which is true.
Yeah.
Then Dennis comes in, Oh well, and I knew that he had to be a shill for these because he put the fucking trademark bullshit in here. VLN trademark.
He's dumber than me.
So
he really is.
So then I said, "Oh, yeah, no, yeah. Do you work for 22nd Century, an investor? I just skim your profile. You have 20 tweets, and every one of them is about VLN or
6
that
days.
company.
6 days, no answer. How about that?
Yeah.
Look.
So, but I mean, literally, if you go to his profile, I'm gonna, I'm not
I know
doxing
he
him or anything. He's had a profile since 2017.
Yeah.
He's got 91 followers, and literally, if you scroll through his feed, there's only like 25 tweets.
They're all replies. They're not tweets.
These are retweets. I'm talking about ones that he generated.
Oh, he opens and does his own. No,
yeah, there's like one. Few. Oh, look, it's a stock thing, and it's a 21.
Well, sure.
22nd Century.
Oh, God,
there's another one. VLN.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's about VLNs.
Yeah.
This is a link to VLN stuff. Oh, what? 22nd Century. So, yeah, I mean, he didn't respond. He didn't respond.
No, he's an investor. It's okay. He's trolled me 100 times. Good night, Fig. I don't care if they have them. And here's what I've surmised. I know you guys didn't think you were going to get a big word like that out of me, but here's my hypothesis.
Is the stoner writing your words for you?
No, they came up with this proprietary way to reduce the nicotine. They've literally taken nothing else out. They said they've
admitted that
nothing put in it. So they've got a patent, and what they're trying to do, in my opinion, because they're in the hemp industry anyway, so their money's in the hemp. What they're trying to do, along with all the research that they got from the FDA and NHS and all that, over $100 million of our tax dollars have been spent on research to be sure that these help people quit. With people that don't want to quit, they reduce their cigarettes by 1.6 a day. That's the one I remember. Now, what they want to do is they want to sell that to the tobacco companies, is my opinion, hypothesis.
With the technology, the patent,
right?
Or what?
And what they don't realize is that they've had that technology since the 60s or 70s. I've already found it. I don't have it in my hand, but they've had that for years. They don't need these people worrying about lowering their nicotine. This is going to be fought forever. There's no smoker that's going to go, that's a great idea. I just can't see it. Merits, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, it's been done. You don't think that the U.S. government has the keys to the patent office?
Right. So if they work, and God love you if it works for you, that's great. I like that. If it helps you quit, literally.
You have the right to. See, here's the thing. If you want to smoke cigarettes,
you are still allowed.
You have that right. Like, I don't want to hang out with you because you smell, but you can't see it, Kevin. I don't think you can see it. But if you go to you can if you look in the chat room at where I've chatted, but I did change my little icon on YouTube. Yeah. It's me holding up a bar of soap like this, and like Fight Club, and it says "You smell." I'm just saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But
if you got him is all I know. I don't care.
It's up to you. But I don't want them. I don't like the fact that product got a MRTP.
It was going to anyway.
I don't have to like it. I don't have to like it because what risk was modified?
$100 million nicotine.
What?
$100 million plus.
That's not a risk.
No, see, you're catching this whole fucking thing wrong. You're over here and the ball's over here. What they want you to think is nicotine is the problem.
Well, they want you to think that, but they just want you to also be stupid zombies and do what they tell you to do.
There you go. Bah. I do not believe.
I don't know about sheep. Yeah.
I don't think we have one in this crowd.
This is not Scotland.
And it's certainly not USFC. Nor is it wherever Chapman lives. So
Man.
it's okay. All the
Chipman, I'm
Chip
blocked by
Man's
him.
here.
I can't see him now. I'm
all
on the blocked club.
congratulations. It's about fucking time.
Well, I've
So-
been blocked now for about a year. So
Yeah, well, there's no bragging rights until it's at least 3 or 4 or 5. And he has to mention, like he did me, about my own blog of him. So it was something drivel or something. I can show it to you, but
yeah.
if he made me think about something else. Never mind.
So I know for a fact that some of these important people are watching our show and stealing our content, Kevin.
No.
I know this.
No.
Because no one has talked about this as much as we have. And I would say that we probably were the first people to talk about this. So Vice has put out a piece now. It says the war on drugs didn't work.
No.
The war on vapes won't either.
No.
And we've been talking about the war on drugs and the failed drug war and the failed strategies of the war on drugs and how they were using the same playbook on vaping for years. I should say. Years. But now Vice is stealing our shit.
That is the stupidest fucking picture.
It is, but that's like the type of shit that I'm seeing vape shops sell now, though.
Right. Well, they're
This is
trying
one of
to
those
mimic,
like 10,000 puff bar things.
they're
And now they
trying to
have
mimic-
some of them that have like lights, and they
They're trying to mimic a dirty back alley where the guy's left his vape. That's all.
Well,
Anyway,
that could be somebody's fixins right there. That could be,
I know.
just saying.
I know.
But every morning I leave my home in Sydney and I walk to the train station, skipping over the forgotten carcasses of dozens of hyper-colored disposable vapes. They are littered in the gutters, in the bushes, and on the street. The technicolored reminder of addiction, battery-filled and crumpled metal. These discarded cartridges are a daily reminder that our government's war on vaping is not working. But for almost anyone paying attention, that isn't surprising. In every state and every town, illegal, not doctor-prescribed vapes are sold brazenly. Now, this is from Australia, by the way, where it is required to have a doctor's prescription. But anyway, in rural towns, on trendy city high streets, and underneath office blocks, a combination of service stations and general stores have added vape seller to their already endless inventories. Right next to the whipped cream chargers, the particularly brave or dumb shopkeepers have taken to stickering their windows in big red letters, vapes. I mean, obviously, I'm not anti or pro vaping. I cannot tell you enough that I do not care what you do with your body. But the idea that an addictive thing like nicotine could easily be curtailed in Australia has a false confidence around it ever since the government propped up a price of cigarettes incrementally until a pack of darts costs more. Darts must be Australian slang for cigarettes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, like fags. Same thing.
It's not very nice talking about,
Fags in the
people
UK,
like
you
that.
retarded you little.
Well, there's lots of fags in the UK. I mean, have you seen them? I mean, there's an incredible amount of them there.
Oh,
But let's not judge them. They're allowed to be whatever they want to be.
stop it. Fish and chips, right? Fags, fish and chips.
Yeah.
It's all different. It's the same thing, only
Well,
different.
some of them are vegetarian. Some of them eat anything. I don't. What do you? You trying to get us blocked, Kevin?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
You're trying to get us deplatformed over there because
Oh my
they
God.
have a very powerful lobby.
Somebody found Castello off the Centrum bottle. He's alive.
Well, they probably defibrillated him.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So a pack of darts costs more than a night out. But vapes are different. They are not getting more expensive, at least not prohibitively, and they are not getting harder to access. They are in the hands of office workers and tradies and school kids easily because of a period in the late 2010s where Juul Pod and its ripoffs became a meme and a healthier option until, well, they weren't anymore.
Yeah.
It makes sense that the government and healthcare workers and parents would see this and want to do something about it. Depressingly, it makes sense that the answer is what it has always been. We'll illegalize our way out of it. So again, the guy wrote like a bunch of paragraphs of, shit that we said before him.
Yeah, way.
And this is Brad Esposito, and he's from Vice, Australia.
Well, our friend at the FDA, Kathleen, already said these kids are smart. Just saying no didn't work.
No.
This isn't working.
If you tell a kid, well, even Caleb Mintz, Caleb Mintz said it. He's like a 20 or 19-year-old kid. You tell a kid not to do something, the odds are they're going to do that. They're going to do it. And his mommy's one of the founders of Vape. Pave.
Yeah, another kid's quit in a day on a tweet.
Yes, that was
Aaron's child, I guess. Is who
that was. That was the other Chardonnay and Xanax taking mom.
Can you imagine how proud she is riding around in her Karen van, just grinning at her boy?
My son was on TV as a WHO puppet. And now he gets a paycheck from our nonprofit organization.
That's so painful.
So this is yours as well.
Thank you very much.
Because I'm talking about the next thing. This is from Brad.
Yes.
This is Brad.
Well, I'm prouder of this one than I am the others. I'm so in awe of him. I really am. It just like a man. I'm
gonna make you read this.
That's fine. Let me do it myself. Hang on a second. Let me get my.
You want to touch yourself? What?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I mean, you've been doing it for a long time, so I guess you know how to do it.
Well, all right, there I can see it better. Dr. Rodu, by the way, Dr. Rodu is who this is.
I just call him Brad.
I'm not. Nope, I can't do it. FDA Commissioner Califf on May 27th tweeted, and I think we covered it, a grossly inaccurate statement. And he stated that I worry about our academic centers and professional societies, those used to be non-profit political front groups, now they're called professional societies, are not activated enough on the tobacco issue. Now, all you have to do is read that twice. So almost 500,000 Americans will die this year from tobacco-related illness and millions of teenagers becoming addicted to nicotine through vaping. That's the quote. So Dr. Rodu says there is no evidence that vaping is enslaving millions of teenagers. The number of high school students, and we just read this thing a few minutes ago, they went from gazillions in the past 30 days to 1.2 million here, a 58% reduction from the peak of 4.1 million in 2019. So my gazillion estimate was wrong. Additionally, not all of these teens are or were addicted, in quotes, addicted, as the majority in both years used e-cigarettes infrequently. Only 500,000 in 2021 had not used e-cigarettes or other tobacco and had vaped 20 plus days, which is the baseline for even considering addiction. I'm going to repeat that. 20 plus days is the baseline for even considering the word addiction. That's pretty important for him to point that out very specifically at the end of that paragraph. So the commissioner's assertion that our academic centers and professional societies are not activated enough on the tobacco issue the FDA's CTP, Center for Tobacco Products, transfers to NIH 200 to 300 million annually. Funds that end up in coffers of academic centers and professional societies. On top of the massive NIH annual budget allotment, which he's linked as well for tobacco research, this network of heavily funded academians, which I think is hilarious, is hyperbolically active in producing articles and press releases that exaggerate, which we've shown 100 times, and distort 100 more times of the vaping risks, especially in comparison to smoking, which actually does kill some 500,000 a year. He, Dr. C, is a cardiologist and is absolutely wrong in using the term tobacco when he refers to cigarette smoking. When he tweets about COVID, he focuses on that virus and its variant. He doesn't say RNA virus. When he tweets about infant formula crisis, he focuses on Abbott nutritional deficiencies, not the product category linked. It's crystal clear the commissioner knows the difference between various tobacco products, as seen as in his agency's 28th of April tweet announcing menthol and flavor bans for cigarettes and cigars. And he goes on at the last paragraph to say, health organizations, those professional societies we spoke of earlier, have been conflating tobacco and cigarette smoking in their statements for years. Here, and here he links, because I love him. But those organizations are faceless. They're also ballless. That was my words. He is a physician and commissioner of the federal agency that regulates products, accounting for 20 cents of every dollar spent by U.S. consumers. Say that again. 20 cents of every dollar spent by U.S. consumers. Really. He should not be tweeting misinformation, especially when he tweeted on April 29th, he believes that misinformation is now our leading cause of death, and we must do something about it. Indeed, Dr. Rodu closes with, the FDA commissioner must do something about it. So I don't know where you're at. Let me find you.
So I have to point out that Brad missed something.
Okay.
Because he talks about health organizations have been conflating tobacco and cigarette smoking in their public statements for years. But the problem is a lot of these organizations are no longer talking about tobacco. They're no longer talking about smoking, and they've shifted all of their attention to nicotine.
You're absolutely right.
So none of their current messaging is about tobacco or smoking. It's all about a nicotine-free future. It's right on Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids website.
Right.
If you go to American Lung and American Heart, they have refocused and rejiggered all of their messaging to be anti-nicotine. So as much as I like Brad, I have to point out that he jumped the shark and forgot to include the fact that they have switched their target has shifted.
Right. See, I took it a different way. I thought the nicotine part was implied, but I know he's from a smokeless society, smokeless tobacco part.
Well, yeah. I mean, he does a lot of work with oral product, with.
Right, and I thought that
and
was
that's
where he
perfectly fine. If smokeless tobacco were to be the game changer, that would be fine, because I've used snus and I can be satisfied with those. I don't get the same hand-to-mouth stuff, though, which I sort of like.
Right.
I like sucking on things. I don't know. Okay.
I was trying to ignore it. Stop.
See, I opened the door there. I opened the door for you.
I still haven't. I gave you a line earlier, and you just hook, line, and sinker. I've still got these. I haven't tried them, but I will. I have to have an appropriate time.
Sir, that's like all these people that are saying bad things about this without actually having tried it.
Right. I don't say bad things about that. I don't even know what the hell it is. What is it?
This is the Enjoy Daily that I've been using for 3 weeks now.
These are on ON. I don't know.
Yes, I know what they are.
I think it's Reynolds.
Oral nicotine pouches.
Yeah, they're pouches. That's what I was looking for. I didn't know if it was snus or pouch. Anyway, I tried the Juul, and I
didn't like the Juul. Did not like it.
I completely and totally saw the attraction and the ability for doing what it does. I did not like it because the hit was way too strong for me. Had I just stopped smoking,
I would hit you pretty strong sometimes too.
Well, you can stand in line behind the boys. If you had me when I was smoking Reds and I'd have grabbed that, it would have been probably instantaneous. Probably.
Why should I have to wait after the spindly little arms of your kids?
They're just closer. That's all. They'll probably hold me down when they're done. That way you don't have to work so hard. You know. Yeah. And Janice may be having her. You know,
I'm gonna knock you out and then let her stomp on you.
Janine's here. She said earlier something about she wasn't sure how that tweet came back up, where she was talking. It was her video that we've displayed, and
did we?
Yes, we played it.
Oh no, weeks and weeks ago.
I know, and she said, "I don't know how that tweet came back up
because it was awesome. It was awesome."
I just told her, "Don't you worry yourself about that."
It was awesome. So
it'll come up when we feel like it.
I haven't seen Skip tonight. At all. Since Skip can't be here, though, we have her words.
I know.
We have her words.
Yes.
So, and we didn't. I didn't get any Mark pictures that I noticed.
I'll check while you're.
Yeah, check and see. Well, I don't need to browse. I have it already open here. But you can browse on Twitter to see if Mark sent us any artwork. So this is an op-ed celebrating businesses that have helped reduce the tobacco burden. And this is from our very good friend, Kim Skip, in quotation marks, Murray. And she is doing this on behalf of the Taxpayers Protection Alliance. Now, as my headphones just went out, Kevin, I'm going to read this and just hope that you guys can hear me. Oh, no, there he goes. I heard there. Yeah, it was just because your hum went away.
I muted.
That's why I lost. So May 30th was World Vape Day. The day urges the globe to recognize the life-saving technology that has helped millions of people quit smoking combustible cigarettes. Yet many in the tobacco control movement refuse to acknowledge the role of tobacco harm reduction and the public health benefits that vape shop owners have made in helping people who smoke quit. The percentage of the world's population that smokes combustible cigarettes has decreased, despite the efforts of tobacco control groups, including the World Health Organization, to push education, cessation programs, higher taxes, and product bans. The number of deaths per year continues to rise. It doesn't appear that a decrease in smoking and an increase in the number of deaths could be occurring simultaneously. The simple explanation is that the world's population continues to increase, so while the percentage who smoke goes down, the number of deaths go up. Society has a secret tool in its toolbox to help people stop smoking. It's sold in their local vape shops. Unfortunately, there's been a lot of pushback against this new technology, and it's slowing the ability to help more people stop smoking. Contrary to the idea that e-cigarettes are a new tool by Big Tobacco, vape shops are frequently owned by people who have been using these products to quit smoking and want to do the same for others. So Ann Switala, owner of a Michigan vape shop, is a great example. Switala notes, and I'm hoping Switala notes that vaping got her off cigarettes so easily she knew it would work for so many others. After being out of work for 4 years, Switala started a vape shop where her customers were regularly thanking the shop for finally getting them off cigarettes. Consumers often take up vaping to substitute for when they can't smoke. Many are surprised when they discover they accidentally quit smoking. Vape shop owners have witnessed this many times, some of whom share that experience. And we know that Fig, who was in the chat room earlier, quit accidentally. I actually purposefully quit because I promised my wife, and then I had, ran out of lies, so I had to actually quit. So vape shop owner Jordan Wheeler, that's Amanda's husband, opened a vape shop on accident after quitting combustible cigarettes by using vapor products. Eventually, all his friends and family quit smoking with vapor products. Some vape shop owners know firsthand that smoking can, and we know that for a fact. Amanda was on this show and told a story about how she was a cancer survivor who couldn't quit smoking, and she quit with vaping because her husband had done it. Some vape shop owners know firsthand that smoking can cause health problems and even death. They are motivated to turn their tragedy into triumph for others. Jacqueline shared her painful experiences of opening a vape shop after her husband died from lung cancer from cigarettes, and that she doesn't want anyone else to lose their husband or daddy because he's addicted to cigarettes. The benefits of vape shops to consumers is tremendous. Consumers desire a retail space with knowledgeable staff who can help them navigate the wide selection of products they need to quit smoking, offer support on their quit smoking journey, and or prevent them from returning to smoking. Vape shops also help to provide them with a sense of community. Through their own quitting smoking journeys, vape shop owners have discovered the missing link needed to help more people stop smoking. They've discovered tobacco control doesn't need to coerce people. As owners and staff share common experiences, they treat people with kindness and respect and provide the products people need to launch their quit smoking journey. Quit smoking journey. I'm having trouble saying quit smoking journey. The public knows smoking is harmful. Current educational campaigns aren't helping them to stop smoking. Taxes, bans, and stigmatization have had very limited results in reaching the core of those who find it hardest to quit. Vape shop owner Mark Sliss is passionate in his quest to help people stop smoking. He thinks owners like him have an important role to play in ending the smoking pandemic. Sliss notes, vapors and vape shops created something tobacco control can never duplicate, a place solely focused on cessation, yet so enjoyable that people come just to hang out and be smoke-free. Even bringing their friends to quit hurting people until they quit is barbaric, cruel, and ineffective, and totally unnecessary. While World Vape Day has passed, every day is an opportunity to help someone quit smoking. If you know someone who has tried to quit smoking and didn't find success, take them to their local vape shop. Help them find caring staff who wants to see them win their battle against smoking and help them save their own lives. Now, the only problem is there are a lot fewer local vape shops now.
Way too fewer.
Yeah. We went from having 5 or 6 to having 1 or none.
Yeah, I had 9 here, and this is a small place. Dayton's big, but where I am is a suburb, and I think there's 3 now. So I've got the Victor share screen up and ready for Pirate.
Do you know how to do that? I mean, it's been so long.
Yeah, I do. I even rubbed it. I pre-rubbed it, and I rubbed it, and then I pre-rubbed it again.
Did lube it too?
So Pirate, Seismic Pirate, multiple business owner, father of 3, harm reduction advocate, living with the coolest dog ever, Bernie, roof, if you're listening, Mark, and a friend of the show. Now, I'm gonna do a twofer for this because his client mentioned today that in the 3 months she's been vaping instead of smoking, her health and energy levels have improved, has been taken off her BP meds. Where have I heard that before? On my survey. She then left to call and tell her 5 state and federal lawmakers the same thing, get louder. And Professor Vape said, I like the way you put up positive info from users. Now, he's not saying it's safer as a business owner. He's just putting up their statements. And then they deserve to be heard. We deserve to be heard. Their stories need to be told. You can see the rest. They're lying and they're not listening. Now I'm going to go up to the top tweet because if my computer will cooperate with me. There's Bernie. Look at that girl. Look at that beautiful doggy.
Oh.
So
he's not here. I'd whistle.
I know. He also today overheard a client's 4-year-old daughter talking to Bernie saying, this treat's for saving my mom and dad. They don't smoke anymore. I made a picture of you and put it on my wall. You're my hero. She's his hero too. And he got her a sashimi tuna?
Sashimi.
I don't know what the hell that is.
That's sushi. It's raw fish, dude.
The dog, there it is. There it is. I don't want to put the dork right below him. I want to focus on him. So the first client of the day, immunocompromised. Is that the right spelling?
Immunocompromised.
All right. Long-term smoker with long history of associated respiratory issues, repeated pleurisy, etc. How many times do these people have to ignore us? Her first year vaping is also her first year free of lung issues ever. How can you stress this without saying anything? You have to speak. You can call your lawmakers. You can, you raise hell at the Capitol House. Her first year of vaping is also her first year free of lung issues ever. So I don't know what pleurisy is, but I know if you're immunocompromised, it doesn't sound good to me. Her physician, this is important, folks. Her physician is unwilling to discuss vaping, so she's shopping for a new one. And then I made my comment, and he said, losing more than that, losing her husband and 2 grown kids as well. So that doctor is losing 4 patients and a reputation, just like that. And I think that's really part of our journey and process that we have to keep on these people who do not want to listen. Respect.
So, Charles, you're in the chat room. I see what you're saying. Here, we don't demean or promote. We think that every product has value. And you may like what you vape, and Raj will like what he vapes, and Janine will like what she vapes. And we think that having everything available for everyone is the best option. So we don't really care for people like saying that one thing is bad versus another thing. Whatever works for you is what works for you. And yeah, just letting you know, we don't really care for, one type. We want people to have as many different options as possible. And by far, there is no, like, for example, Kevin and I would disagree with you on dripping. That is by far the least, the most inferior method of vaping for what we enjoy.
Dripping?
Dripping.
I've never done it. So
like 3 milligram nicotine.
Times 5,000 times you hit it.
Yeah,
okay.
No, yeah.
That's
At 8,000 watts.
No, that's what killed it.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Personalized.
Yeah. If Bastard uses refillable pods and that's what makes him happy, then that's what makes him happy.
And Ed has a stone, and he's got a little pot, and he.
Yeah. No. The only drippers I own are skunkers. That
never tried it.
That are drippers that you can skunk with. With a skunk mod. But yeah, I vape 12 and 18 milligram. I don't think a dripper would work for me. One, no, that wouldn't work for me because I tried it. So anyway, I mentioned earlier that there was a story about a guy that smoked for 30 years and started vaping and then got cancer and says, don't start vaping, kids.
Well, thank goodness.
Yeah. So here it is. This is OSF Healthcare. This is from Illinois. Cancer survivor on vaping, don't even start. So 30 years of smoking, a pack and a half a day of cigarettes per day, breathing problems, 3 trips to the emergency department, throat cancer, nearly lost his vocal cords, radiation therapy, a temporary tracheotomy leading to a soft food only diet, a stroke, depression, relying on oxygen, and a cane daily for Ralph Federoli of Alton, Illinois. It all adds up to one message to people who start smoking or vaping: don't do it.
Well, it sure sounds like Ray, with the exception of being a dumbass.
I wasn't really scared because I know where I'm going after I die. Federoli says, Federally says after a cancer diagnosis, but just the mere thought of my family members, my daughter, my granddaughter, I have too much to live for, and so I would fight. So he's not afraid of dying because he knows where he's going. But the thing is he's dying of something that he did to himself. And if you're, there are some very rigid Christians that would say that if you did it to the temple, if you sullied the temple, then you're going to hell. So how does he know where he's going? I mean, I'm just saying.
Because he's confident.
This is this is one of those pretentious people that assumes to know the will of God, as far as I'm concerned. Federally, and Karen Boyd, one of the nurse navigators who cares for him at OSF Mueller Cancer Center in Alton, are among those taking notice of the latest annual report from the U.S. FDA on young people vaping.
Thank goodness they're paying attention.
Ute e-cigarette use remains an ongoing concern, as the survey found more than 2 million U.S. middle school and high school students reported current past 30 days. So again, here comes the dumbasses with their, now they're saying that 2 whole million U.S. kids are past 30-day users. Now, the thing we read last week was 53%, or 2 weeks ago or whatever, 53% of all kids in upper or junior high and high school are addicted to nicotine.
It's a gazillion and a half now, total.
And I'm not going to deny, I will not deny that there are some children that are using this stuff, but these are also and the FDA admitted, we know kids are going to experiment.
I think
twice.
It's higher.
Well, I'm sure. But yeah,
I'm just saying, I think it's higher.
But I just thought it was kind of funny that this asshole that smoked for 30 years and started vaping is blaming his lung cancer, his throat cancer on the vape.
Thanks to the old man Ed, I can show a Moffitt cancer statement from Moffitt from 2017, I think, or 18.
I mean, I would be fine if he said, "Hey, kids, don't smoke." But no, right. I smoked for 30 years. Sure. Don't start vaping.
Sure. Why would he have started? He didn't say what caused him to start vaping. He didn't say that I know and why, and you know why, but.
I'm just. It's just the stupidity of some of these people. I smoked a pack and a half a day for 30 years, and I started vaping a couple months ago, and damn it, I got cancer. You assholes.
When I was a newsie, you know what I'm talking about.
A newsie?
With the hat like you, and I was like 8 years old, and I was one of those newsie guys. Yeah, that's when I started.
Read all about it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Selling papers.
Did you have a really cool hat like this when you were selling the newspapers on the street corner?
In fact, I didn't do what I said.
Extra, read all about it.
Because they're reading our minds and listening to our thoughts on this show, that I get the ads for your damn hats, and I was going to start sending them to you.
Oh, I get tons. I have tons of
holy Christ,
tons of ads for the scallies.
I got an old Gilligan hat somewhere. It's one of my stepdad's. Anyway, I just can't understand how you can be, because I said earlier, it's my new hashtag, journalism is dead. You can be a journalist and then put this crap out. It's pretty simple to figure this out. Even kids, as my girlfriend Kathleen said on the FDA panel, are smart. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand.
Speaking of how smart kids are, I just had to do it. I know. So, we've spent a long time 2 weeks ago, showing you what we call native advertisements. These are news pieces that your local news do, and they make you think that it's an actual news piece, and it's really an advertisement, hidden inside of a news piece. So we showed you a whole bunch of the same prepared video presentation from the Pave Mom and the Truth Kid. So I did a news search this week new search, and yesterday, guess what I found? Brand new. This is from January or June, not January, June
You got a
1st.
new hobby.
June 1st. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this up and make it bigger. Look at this shit. Look at the
Same thing.
Look at this shit.
No way. Sound. Oh my god. It's the same thing, isn't it? You're not even going to play it because you don't care.
Wait.
Now let's go live to the Truth Initiative.
Twitch.
It's the same. You've been wearing the same shirt for 2 months. Oh, just speed it up. You know there's no sound, right? Oh my god, they're still wearing the same stuff.
Look, it's the same. There was no
She hasn't
sound.
brushed her teeth in weeks.
Oh man, I got. Oh, let me read.
We don't need the sound. It's all the same shit.
How did I not? Oh man. Let me go back and in here. No, that's not the right one. Let me fix this, Kevin.
Oh my god.
Let me fix this because I can't. Oh, I hit the wrong button
You
again.
can't not.
I need a producer. I need like somebody backstage fixing my shit.
We probably just lost.
And my
Ed
headphones
because
went
he
out
thought
again,
his
Kevin.
hearing
So I can't hear you when
He
you're
thought his-
laughing now. And this time,
Ed
it
thought
just
his-
said headphones not connected. So I gotta take them out. Now I can hear you because you're over the speakers. But
Good,
if I start
good. What I
hearing
said is
sound,
we-
I'm gonna get horrible echo.
We probably lost Ed because when the sound went out, he probably thought his hearing aids weren't working, so he's out getting some batteries. Now,
Well,
look what you
he
did.
thought his hearing aids went out, and it was really my bad producing.
Funnier. Andrew said it was funnier without the sound.
Yeah. So hey, let's go back.
We're anxious. So joining us to discuss in more detail is Amy Taylor, the Chief of Community Engagement for Truth Initiative,
Stop.
and Gianna Darville, the Truth Initiative.
Stop.
She said joining us now.
Yeah, joining us now.
This is in June.
from the video package that was sent to us.
Liaison, thanks so much for taking time to talk with us.
Okay, so this is the same shirt, the same blue jean jacket. This is it's a good thing there's not like a calendar behind one of these people to show you what day they actually filmed this stock footage. I could almost recite what this blonde lady's fixing to say verbatim because we've watched it 2 weeks ago like 80 times because we found like 80 different places playing the same video clip.
Joining us now.
Okay, Amy.
I'm sorry. You're
Cut.
gonna have to mute me.
Cut.
Tell us more about the ongoing nicotine vaping epidemic
God.
and its effect
Nicotine
on
vaping
young people and
epidemic.
their mental health.
Mental health.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to get our message out. We are on a collision course.
We are on a collision course. So I'm not going to play the whole thing, Kevin. I'm not going to play the whole thing, Kevin, because I know you don't want. But literally, it's been. So the first week we found like 40 different places that had the same fucking news thing. The next week it was down to 3 or 4. But now they're one at a time. They're popping up these, and you see right here they hide it.
You could,
but it's an advertisement.
You can literally take this and stop it just before she starts. Do your own thing, and then have her join us. And so we should say goodbye to them for having the time to come on for us. Honestly, thanks, ladies. I appreciate that.
We appreciate all of your time and joining us live. You know, the thing is if we asked them to appear on the show, I'm sure that they would just send us the package.
Well, yeah. Then we could charge them like $100, right?
I know, right?
Advertisers.
We should actually do that. We should reach out to the Truth Initiative and say we are podcasters and would love
I think you should
to talk about the teen vaping epidemic.
and mental health.
Could one of you people send us because we really would love to talk to you.
What's your going rate that you pay?
Why is this suddenly doing this? I'm just taking the damn things out, Kevin. I can't hear you while you're talking because the headphones decided to shoot out.
Janine and I were thinking the same thing.
still
Whether
can't
we
hear
can
you.
hear Patrick or not, we don't care.
Now I
We
can hear.
don't care. We don't care. Janine and I were thinking the same thing. We should have a show with them, like a quick, what is that, like 3-4 minutes with them? And
Yeah.
we can stop and we can make a comment, and then we can start playing it again.
We should ask for the raw video footage so that we can do that.
So you say it's bad. Yes, we say it's bad. But I have this study here. No, it's bad.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
That is so sad.
I saw this thing this week, Kevin, and I'm gonna I'm gonna introduce this. I'm gonna mute myself and play this because that way we don't get an echo because I took the headphones out.
All right, I'll mute.
No, you can. The echo will come from my headphones. But this week, on Katy Perry's Twitter,
Jesus.
they introduced a new character that will be performing live when she does a show.
No,
It's called Plateau.
I can't. I have to mute my thoughts because I already know the answer to the question. I'll just let it roll, and then I'll say it after. Go ahead. Because I did see that one. I watched that one.
A little squeak-wit.
We've got a really new fun pet for the show, a rat.
It's time to play.
She's always obsessed with puppetry.
Hey, watch your mouth.
The three of us have tried to find the right moment to put puppetry into a show.
OMG, what is in here?
And finally, the Vegas opportunity came about.
I want to know where that device. That's a pretty big. What kind of battery fits in that?
I gotta tweet Vlad real quick. I'm good. I was waiting to do this.
So now, who is advertising vaping to American youth or to youth anywhere?
Exactly.
Now it's pop stars.
Exactly.
And the sad fact of the matter is, she vapes. Like, she's been shown to be, that she no longer smokes cigarettes and she vapes. So, what is this?
Only one way. You can leave Vegas with a small fortune. Arrive with a big one.
Arrive with a big one. That is funny. Anyways.
So, I saw that and I was like,
It's childish at best, but go ahead.
Who is responsible for this now? It's these assholes that, her shows are not 21 and older. Like, some recording artists know that they do an adult show and they don't let underage kids into their show.
These are probably little ones, right? 10-year-olds, whatever.
No, Katy Perry's, she's popular in all age groups. She is an attractive lady. And she had like one song that I know of, I think.
So like from Mallory to you, to me, and to Ed.
I don't know how old Mallory is. I would never assume.
Well, I thought she was like 20. I don't know.
I would never assume. She's over 20 because she vapes, dummy, and she's not breaking the law.
Not according to one of the reports we just read.
Well, but Mallory is a responsible person. She would not be vaping if she was not.
Well, that's true. My apologies for sending those weird vibes out, but yeah.
And yes, and Katy Perry does vape, and she included a rat character. So now, hey, I know what it is. She is going to publish a paper about vaping, and that character, that giant rat, is her lab subject.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going
I
to
just asked Vlad what he's doing with Katy because I got to know. See if he answers me eventually.
So, because we've shown, so maybe they're being more humane in their experimentation on the rats, because we've shown pictures in the past on the show of how they torture the rats in these studies.
Now they're watching Katy dance.
So now, they're doing the experiment with the rat and being able to participate in an entertaining way with attractive young ladies and dancers and things.
Do you want to do a bet on how long it'll take Truth or Tobacco-Free Kids to admonish her?
Oh, she's not immune, so yeah. I mean, I'm sure that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it's silly. I don't know who she is. I don't care. I've probably heard songs and I've danced to them. I have no idea though.
I
That's
would.
my genre.
I would love to see you get up and dance, Kevin.
But that won't happen today. So, if and when, and I say when, they're going to make a statement about this eventually. They can't hold themselves in.
Animatronic mice should not vape.
I say by the 4th of July. That way it's an easy thing to remember.
Well, she's doing her. I think this is probably a Las Vegas residency. Where a recording artist appears. So it won't even be that long, because if her residency is starting soon, she's going to be doing 3 shows a day for like a month.
That doesn't matter, Patrick.
It won't even be July. I would say mid-June.
It's tweeted. I won't even tag the ladies.
Janine actually reminded me of one of the. She sings a song said "I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It."
Oh, I kissed a girl. Yeah. I've danced to that.
Now there's 2 of those songs. Though. There's one that was out in like the '90s, and then there's a more recent one that's like from the last 5 years.
Well, I don't know if I've.
Didn't she have a song called "Roar" or something like that? I think she had a song called "Roar."
She's so far beyond my reach of what I think might be.
I think she's like a 5-hit wonder. I don't think it's just one hit. I'm sorry,
it's
Janine,
like the first time listening to her would be like the first time Ed actually took the Carter album out of its brand new package and set it on the Edison.
No, those weren't even records. Those were tubes.
Were they tubes? Poor Ed. We love you, Ed. You know we do. Mostly.
Yeah, I was right. She had 3 or 4 hits, but it's
positive to me. But he's got a really rough voice, so I'm concerned. He should have a squeaky voice.
That's Harvey Firestein.
I know.
From he was in Independence Day. That's the thing that I remember him from. And then he died. He died trying to get out of New York City. The aliens attacked and destroyed New York City, and he's in his car, and he goes, "Oh crap!" and then he dies.
So it's not Ratatouille then, or whatever the fuck.
I don't. He could have been in Ratatouille. I don't know.
And it's not Mickey. So it looks like a dirty, New York City rat. That's all. Like the one. He
didn't look very clean. You were correct.
He looks unkempt. He looked unkempt at best.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared.
I'm kind of interested in why you sent me a link about the price of a pack of cigarettes.
Well, listen, for weeks we've said, and including me, have said, hey, smoking rates went up. Now there's questions. So why wouldn't I send it?
I don't know.
It's a counterpoint.
So it says a 2020 FTC report revealed that the number of cigarettes sold to wholesalers and retailers had increased for the first time in 2 decades, prompting concern about a potential reversal of the 30-year decline in cigarette use in the United States. However, these data did not reflect actual sales to consumers.
Right.
National surveillance studies have indicated a decline in cigarette use among youths and adults who examined cigarette market changes in relation to actual consumer purchases. This cross-sectional study assessed the trends in total cigarette retail sales, menthol cigarette sales, and cigarette prices in the United States from 2015 to 2021. However, I think you're wrong, Kevin.
Well, I'm wrong. What? Which
I think these people fail to include the fact that a huge number of cigarettes that are sold to distributors, their sales to the consumers do not get reported because they become black market sales.
See, now, when you drop...
Because those cigarettes either get sold to distributors that don't record their sales.
Black markets don't record their sales.
And I am sure that the First Nation, the Native American cigarette sales do not get reported to the tax man in the United States.
Oh, those are tax-free.
Yeah.
Good. Go ahead, good, David.
And, when prices go up, and we've talked about cross-border sales. We've talked about people going to the res to pick up cigarettes.
Yeah, New Hampshire
We already know that New York City black markets cigarette sales alone account for more than the actual value of all legal cigarettes sold in the state. That's $1 billion industry. So it's really hard to make these, sort of statements,
assumptions,
statements. Well, they're making statements in this.
I know.
That are baseless because there's no way to prove or disprove them.
Right.
Because they're not taking into account that there's such a thing as a black market. And as black markets are impossible to fully account for, how do you know how many cigarettes are sold in the black market? And I'll tell you another thing is these distros, these distribution sites, these people that buy cigarettes from the manufacturer to turn around, they're not going to buy more cigarettes if they have a warehouse full of cigarettes, Kevin.
No.
These are business people. They're only going to buy more cigarettes from their wholesalers or from the manufacturers if they have room and they have a place in their warehouse to put them. So what they're saying here is that from February 1st of 2015 to December 22nd or 26th of 2021, the annual number of cigarette packs sold decreased by 27.2% from 12.5 billion packs to 9.1 billion packs. And during this period, dollar sales decreased overall by 6% from 69.8 billion to 56.6 billion, while prices increased 29% from $5.57 to $7.22 per pack. Menthol cigarettes accounted for 33% of total sales, and there was no significant change in that percentage between 2015 and 2022.
Right.
So again, I would say that your numbers don't mean shit when you can't account for the number of cigarettes sold in non-recorded outlets, whether that's black market, that's PXs, that's duty free, that's all the different places that you can buy cigarettes that don't return are not accounted for by the number one people that are counting the sale of cigarettes are comptrollers and tax assessors.
Right. Now drop to the bottom.
Okay.
Just roll on down.
How far down?
I think it's below that paragraph. Nope. Oh, right there. Findings from this analysis are limited in that retail sales do not reflect actual consumption. Now, I don't understand the nevertheless surveillance of tobacco sales provides timely insights. This is accepted, right? So casual relationships cannot be inferred.
Causal. Causal, not casual.
Is it causal?
Yes.
So I'm not quite sure who's lying, they or we or them or those people. So it went down, but it went up, but it went down. So I'm not quite sure. I didn't read the artist. Yeah, that's a good way to put a researcher's name. I don't know who wrote it, but we've been saying that it's definitely gone down. Now they're saying it's going back up. Right.
So, like I said, how do we know that it ever went down?
I know. That's the point of giving it to you, though.
I mean, again,
why?
It's easy to if there was no such thing as black market cigarettes and there was no such thing as non-taxed cigarette sales in the United States, and there are outlets in the United States where you can buy cigarettes that are tax-free.
Yep.
Whether that's at freeze, whether that's at Native American cigarette outlets, those sorts of things. If all things are equal and everybody reported that, then it would be one thing. But again, there is a such a thing as black market cigarettes. There is a thing as native, as reservation cigarettes. There's no fucking way that you can measure this because they're only counting the people that actually report their sales.
Well, my question to this, as you were speaking, I got to word it right. If the manufacturers of cigarettes have to pay based upon what the manufacturer makes, they know how many they made.
Yeah.
So then they should be able to know how many they've sold.
But that doesn't mean that they're to consumer. See, they're basing in their original paragraph up there, it's talking about cigarettes to end user.
So they can't really do what they're saying they're going to do.
Yes. And it's sad that two chuckleheads can figure out the flaw in their fucking methodology.
You're very welcome. We do science and stuff on this show.
It's just logic. Now here's the
I'm going to quote you. I've done logic.
Stupidity is anathema to me. Like, I cannot stand stupidity.
I'm so sorry.
And that's not because I'm so superior to everyone else, but when it's so stupid that my tax dollars is being spent on this sort of nonsense that I can find the flaw in without even reading the entire thing, Kevin. I read the first paragraph and I was like, there's no fucking way that this can be sound.
This is bullshit. I can't help it. I'm sorry that I, offended and hurt your feelings in your.
I'm just like, dude, this is ridiculous.
What better way?
I'm like, Kevin, I know that you're smarter than this. Is what I was saying when I saw this. I was like, what are you sending me this for? Did you? We send links to each other.
I know.
Without any explanation most of the time.
No, because I don't like you anyway. It doesn't matter.
So, I'll send Kevin a link, and Kevin will send reply with a link, but we don't put it in any context. We don't say why we're sending it. And I'm hoping that I will send links just to piss him off. And I'm thinking he's starting to do that to me now.
Listen, look at me very carefully, closely. Listen we're all the way to the screen. We have to share things to our friends, not because they're stupid, because they're not.
Well, some
I
of
would never, ever imply that. What I want them to know.
Janine, we love her.
Hell no, she'd kick my ass.
I would help her.
What I want them to be able to do, or I want to enable them to do, is to take that link, search it without the extra XKRYZ crap on it. If they see it on Twitter, they can go, well, this doesn't make any sense. Or if they happen to see it on Twitter, they don't even have to search. But if they see that headline, they're going to go, well, I remember Chucklehead 1 and 2 talking about that a couple weeks ago. I think they're crazy. So opportunity arises sometimes when I send you links, and sometimes I want to piss you off.
We are crazy. We're definitely.
I am?
No,
we
are.
Oh, we. So it's I see the big band thing. I don't know what that's about, but
he says he has all of his dad's CDs. Now I look at Steve's picture and I say, I don't know that your dad had CDs. I bet your dad had phonograph records and maybe 8 tracks. But I don't know.
I gotta see Steve's beard better. Him and Bruni are probably in a contest.
He's got white hair, so I would assume that he's
So to my friends, not you, I don't like you. To my friends,
You
including
said
Ed,
friend. I assumed you weren't talking to me.
then I want them to know that I'm thinking of them when I show the bullshit part of it. That's all.
Yeah.
Plus, I want to piss him off. So it doesn't matter. Because you do send shit to me just to piss
I do.
off.
I'm like, oh, Kevin's gonna love this.
Fucking word.
But Kevin, I think you do love this one. So this says, former WHO directors slam organization's harm reduction stance, and with good cause.
First of all, I'm gonna edit my own thoughts here very quickly.
And Steve says that his dad had reel-to-reels. So yeah, I was correct.
First of all, it's somebody I admire that's writing this, so I'm going to be biased. Second of all, the headline, which I don't know if he would have been able to control completely, because I know that when I did the Daily Caller thing a couple times, they edited the shit out of my headline. So the editor, or Mr. Culp himself, whichever, did really well with the way the headline is worded, because clicks count. Right?
Yeah.
And it's serious. This is not a joke. This is serious.
So, two former directors at the WHO have written a scorching article in The Lancet criticizing their former employer for its casual. See, this is actual casual, not
Yeah,
causal.
I can't see. That's I know.
Casual and damaging dismissal of tobacco harm reduction. They are quite right to do so, and it is regrettable that more academics are not doing likewise. So Robert Beaglehole, who I believe is one of the gentlemen that was in the he was in the Senate Senate Select Committee on Tobacco Harm Reduction in Australia that our very good friend Holly Hughes was the chairperson for. And Robert Beaglehole was one of the gentlemen that was speaking. And this is what's really funny is after he got done, like he introduced himself that he was the head of the WHO infectious disease, blah, blah, blah. Like he had lots of credentials, you know. And when they were questioning him after he gave his talk, one of the anti-vaping women in the group implied that, asked basically, well, aren't you, first she said, well, do you currently work for the World Health Organization? And he's like, no. And she was like, did you leave on good terms or bad terms? Why are you so negative against your ex-employer? Did you leave under bad terms? Like she was specifically like going at him as if he was a disgruntled ex-employee, which was really annoying. But anyway, Robert Beaglehole, chair of the Action on Smoking and Health New Zealand, and Ruth Bonita, University of Auckland, both formerly directors at WHO's efforts to tackle non-communicable diseases, take no prisoners in declaring the tobacco control is not working for most of the world. The WHO claims to lead efforts to reduce harms of tobacco smoke via its Global Framework Convention on Tobacco Control Treaty, yet the two professors have deemed it no longer fit for its purposes, especially for low-income countries. They argue that the missing strategy in WHO and FCTC policies is harm reduction, and we already know, we have addressed this quite frequently on Twitter. It is part of their founding treaty. Like harm reduction is addressed, and it is necessary for the members, for the signatories of that treaty. And it is a treaty that it must address harm reduction, and it does not. So to make a plea to the Historic Medical Journal to voice the concerns of many public health professionals around the world by urging the Lancet to actively endorse harm reduction as a crucial strategy for reducing the health burden caused by tobacco, and to also add its voice to the calls for an independent review of WHO's tobacco control policies. They emphasize the urgency, stating that millions of lives are at stake. However, they probably forgot to include that there's billions of dollars at stake because Bloomberg gave them $700 million last year. Yeah. 2 years ago when Trump pulled out of the WHO and said that we're not paying that $700 million, Bloomberg wrote a check the very next day. Yeah. So, and oh, by the way, hey, I'm wearing the Bloomberg shirt today.
Mickey's on. Good.
Yeah. See, look, fight the mind control menace. So, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money at stake because of colonial Bloomberg trying to force his will upon LMICs. It is a very true and provable thing. I mean, we know for a fact that in one South American country, the head of the health in the offices of the Department of Health for the country, there was a person that sat at a desk in that office that was an employee of Bloomberg, and that office was fully funded by Michael Bloomberg. We had Jeffrey Zamora on the show. I can't remember what country it was, but he said it on the show, what country it was. So the professors have good cause to make these criticisms, as the WHO's opposition to products which can help smokers switch daily from combustible tobacco is widely documented. Despite harm reduction products reducing smoking prevalence in many countries, the WHO adheres rigidly to an abstinence-only quit or die approach to tobacco control. In Sweden, Norway, snus, an extremely low-risk product comprising pasteurized tobacco sold loose or in small pouches to deliver non-combustible nicotine through the gum, has led to dramatic declines in smoking prevalence. In Japan, sales of cigarettes have plummeted 47.5% since the introduction of far safer heated tobacco products as smokers switch en masse. Vaping products have also led to unprecedented declines in smoking, where they have been allowed to be sold. Despite this success, the WHO dismisses all forms of tobacco harm reduction as nothing but an industry plot and openly advocates against these products. Rod says he wants Bloomberg to write him a check. In January 2020, as COVID-19 began to sweep the world, the WHO published a series of 14 tweets about the dangers of vaping, including claims such as vaping e-liquid being highly flammable and that secondhand vapor is lethal to bystanders. Both of these claims are entirely false. And when India banned e-cigarettes and heated tobacco in May, the WHO was so pleased it gave an award to the health minister who spearheaded the legislation and who lost his job pretty quickly afterwards. And I will pause in this to say there's a perfect example of this exact strategy happening again right now in our southern neighbor, Mexico. They just recently announced that they were banning all vapor products in Mexico. And then literally within the 2 or 3 days after that announcement, the health minister of Mexico received the World Health Organization award this year. You got to tell me.
Good job.
So yeah, this is like, yeah, they got that idea from Nick Veer saying this juice is fire. Could be. The WHO has long since departed from pragmatic action to reducing smoking rates, which have remained constant for over 20 years with more than 1.1 billion current smokers globally. Instead, the taxpayer-funded organization increasingly sees its role as opposing industry at every turn, no matter the innovative risk-reduced products being marketed as an alternative to smoking, and no matter the cost to public health. The World Health Organization policies based on a Michael Bloomberg-funded initiative called Empower, and we did a fairly in-depth discussion on Empower last year when they were having the WHO conference, and we got that video of Caleb saying, "You tell a kid not to do something, they're going to do it," which excludes tobacco harm reduction entirely as an option. Yet, wherever Empower has been implemented, smoking rates have either risen or declined very slowly. In countries that have embraced harm reduction, smoking prevalence has declined quite often dramatically.
Yes.
Despite a growing wealth of scientific evidence pointing to the efficacy of tobacco harm reduction, and I said efficacy right, the WHO clearly cherry picks research to suit its ideology. As Beaglehole and Benita note, neither WHO nor FCTC are grounded in the latest evidence on the role of innovative nicotine delivery devices in assisting the transition from cigarettes to much less harmful products. And this, Kevin, in my opinion, is a perfect example of government, of NGOs, of people in general in power. Their whole thing is called empower, Kevin.
Yep.
They want to have the power.
Correct.
That's all they're doing is they're stealing your power. They want to have the power over how you, the choices that you make. Even though in their human rights treaty, which is another thing, there is a specific requirement of all signatories to that health.
Yep.
It's not health, human rights treaty that says that health, and the choices of made for your health should be up to you. It is a human right. Good health is a human right. The professor should be applauded for highlighting this abject failure on the part of the WHO. Sadly, such is the vicious nature of tobacco control industry globally that many more academics feel the same, but dare not speak out against damaging tobacco control groupthink for fear of being hounded out of the profession. And I'll say that C-Doug waited for after he retired from the university to write his call to action. We need to we need to change. Basically, we need to get out of this constant internecine war that we've been fighting about tobacco control and start looking at different strategies. So more than 180 countries have ratified the WHO's FCTC treaty, which illustrates the significant public health benefits that could be derived if the WHO were to change course and embrace harm reduction. It is quite right that it's called out for not doing so. It should happen more often. Good piece.
Yes.
Good piece.
Now I'm gonna share something in a second, just to highlight that, if I can get my damn computer to cooperate.
Do you know what you're doing?
No, not all.
I don't think you know what you're doing.
I don't. I'm searching actually at the moment because I know what I said. I just don't know where it's at. I gotta look for my latest. There. I just did it yesterday, I think, a couple days ago. Share screen. I don't need volume. I'm about to rub it.
Do you know what you're doing?
I did. I do.
You do? Are you sure?
I have.
I don't think you. I think you're wrong.
Oh, ye of such little faith, play nicely, boys. Corporate accountability, stop corporation abuse, was on the Who's weenies because that's what they're doing evidently, and they quoted a couple of things, including this: imagine the life-saving measures and real solutions that could be blah 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 blah, pay for their harms, blah blah blah, because they want to worry about the industry part. So I
said, blah blah blah.
I said one of my best tweets ever, in my opinion, and I want to toot my own horn. What would I just kind of copied
if
what
I
they
could
said?
toot my own horn, I'd be falling off the couch all the time.
So, what would the world look like? Because imagine if the life-saving measures, right? And they said what the world would look like. So I took their words. What would the world look like if WHO implemented their own Article 1D, focusing on the humans they're allegedly trying to help, Instead, taxes, bans on less harmful products negate accountability by the millions. Now, it's a little soft on my evil bastard tweets, but I thought that was a great tweet. Anyway, that's all. Just wanted to share it with you. And here's your framework. Here's your human rights. Framework is FCTC or FTCT, whatever it is, and FCTC. And the human rights part, the right to health must be enjoyed without discrimination on the grounds of race, ethnicity, etc. Period. No discriminatory law, practice, or policy. This is the WHO. And then they want a feature of rights-based approaches is meaningful participation. What they want that to be is national stakeholders and non-state actors like non-governmental organizations. So I cross those parts out because I don't care. But that's what we were just talking about, and we've done it 100 freaking times, and it's still pissing me off that they will not do what they are allegedly supposed to do, ever. Period. Can you explain
allegedly?
why?
Maybe, possibly.
It's alleged. Could, might, maybe.
Maybe.
I try, Tom. I don't like him though. You know.
I have to go through I'm looking through my bookmarks. I can't find my tweet where I address the 5 pillars of the FCTC. And I know I just recently retweeted it because it had been a year since I had used it.
Did you use the word pillars?
I did, and I can't find it. My search did not, it said there are no results. And I know it should show up with pillars because I used the word pillars.
I got the 1D. What else? Give me another word you might have used. I see 4th pillar. So is it number 6? Did you have 6 of them?
I don't know.
I bet it is. I got it. Just a reminder who FTC, that the roof you live under is held.
Oh, I found it. August 1st of 2021. I found it.
You suck. I found it before you did.
Yes.
Monkey.
So, because I want to be fair, one, just a reminder, and this is from, August 1st. Not that I'm smarter than Dr. Beaglehole, but, I did call them out on this nonsense before him. So,
Oh, yeah, we all have.
Failing to acknowledge Article 1D is a failure of ideology. And there it is, harm reduction. I highlighted it so that they could see. And then 2, the 4th pillar of the FCTC, harm reduction and the international right to health, which is a really cool piece that I did not write. I'm not responsible for this. This was written in 2006.
Yeah.
2006, before vaping was everywhere, right?
They've known.
So, they're talking about the right to participate in your decisions for your health.
Yeah.
So, and they're talking about, smoking being the quiet pandemic right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's included in their Treaty for Human Rights. And they're talking about harm reduction even before vaping was a thing, dude. So,
false
this is a decades long worldwide conspiracy, Costello. I know that Costello is a what's the word I'm looking for?
Theorist?
No, he's a conspiracy theorist. Yeah, that's the word.
Realist?
No, he's a conspiracy theorist. Have you seen some? He's talking about the lizard people and stuff and the flat Earth on his Twitter and stuff like that. I
haven't seen that. He's free to do that. He remembers dinosaurs, so why not?
So do you, though. What? Don't be picking on. I'm the only one that can pick on Ed.
Hang on, Stoner's one.
Well, the Stoner wanted something. So Wayne says that gas is now cheaper than vaping, thanks FDA. Well, no, vaping is not cheaper than gas. I mean, if you're talking about volume, a gallon of gas is more expensive than a gallon of e-liquid is still more expensive if you have to buy all the ingredients to make a gallon of e-liquid. So yeah.
Well,
you know.
You're asking you're stating that they knew harm reduction a long, long time ago.
2006, according to the people that wrote that academic paper.
Yeah.
Pointed out the FDA, or not FDA, the WHO's failure to acknowledge tobacco harm reduction as far back as 2007 or 2006.
I don't know if they got ousted or not, but I think Benita, and I think she wrote something with Ruth a while back. I remember her name for some reason.
Ruth is your favorite person, isn't she?
Oh, it's my girl. Just a man.
Did you invite her to go to the movies or something with you?
Yes, sir. I invited her on Twitter that I would walk her down the aisle of the Billion Lives premiere in Milwaukee. And she said she had better things to do.
But sir, you're a married man. You shouldn't be offering.
Two shits. I offered it to her, and there was somebody, I don't know, it might have been Retchen. I don't remember who. There was two or three of them that I asked to walk down the aisle, and they wouldn't. None of them. Not one.
So you actually sent a link for Alan Beard. I'm going to make you read.
It's another man crush. You're gonna make
but he's still too afraid to come on the show.
I love Al. He's a sweetie pie.
I don't know why people are afraid of you, Kevin.
It's me. Sure, it's me. Hang on. I didn't like it last time. All right. Okay, that's fine. Now I got
Y-O-Y by Alan Beard.
Y-O-Y. This is a personal point of view. Alan is not in industry. He's just like us. That's it.
Right? Except he's British.
Well, he talks funny. I don't know if he's British specifically.
I think he's British.
I think he is. I don't know if I've
seen I already offended a lot of Brits a while ago by talking about, you basically saying there's so many fags in Britain.
Oh my God. There's a lot less now since the vaping thing come across the world. As per usual, this far from in-depth analysis. I love Al. This is far from an in-depth analysis, but rather for me to attempt to assemble a few shallow thoughts into print. So he writes about consumers, tobacco industry, tobacco control, Bloomberg government, and hopefully see how each is an impact in relation to one another. Consumers, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will link it or Patrick will in the YouTube.
It's in the show notes.
Oh, it's in the show notes. So nicotine vies with alcohol, caffeine, as one of the three most popular social drugs of choice, but due to many years of negative messaging, has an undeserved, awful reputation, widely held by the public. Smoking has been increasingly vilified since the 60s, following the Royal College of Physicians report into the dangers. So, and we all know this. They knew it before the FDA admitted it. They knew it when the FDA knew it when they admitted it. They just didn't want to run it. Give us a couple more years. So they waited. Consumers of nicotine are unwittingly caught up in the battle of competing interests. They simply wish to have access, but an overwhelming alliance of control, Bloomberg, and government are making this problematic, both in price and hostile messaging. So in his personal experience, following 45 years of smoking, 2 packs a day, he was initially angry with the tobacco industry, like many of us were. I was too, for having me hooked for that period. But this ire was replaced with mild suspicion toward them over the next 9 years. My increasing anger and disquiet have now been directed toward tobacco control, Bloomberg, WHO, and there's our friends, the WHO, and government. That's any and all, in my opinion, who, with a few exceptions, have singularly failed to fully educate the public with full, truthful information to allow them to make an informed choice regarding all nicotine products. Cannabis could well be replacing nicotine in certain parts of U.S., as a popular option. Even as an occasional user, I find this concerning. Tobacco company. I'll skip to the middle. Giving a date to cease cigarette production a frequent demand from control, but any company attempted to unilaterally adopt this policy, their market happily taken on board by a competitor and the management replaced by its shareholders. So that's that. The catch-22 in the tobacco industry seemingly finds itself in. It is an incredibly wealthy enterprise that has had many years to prepare for the inevitable changes it must face, which we all know. If they don't adapt, they're not going to conquer. So they're going into this as fast as they can because they see the truth and the potential both, to me. That's my opinions on those who are listening later on. Tobacco control. Legislation to control the sale of cigarettes certainly was a necessary success of the early campaigners, but increasingly the case in certain countries is a constant demonization of smoking that has morphed into all nicotine consumption. It's something we've talked about 25,000 times here. You just said it earlier. That's nicotine. It's not tobacco any longer. When we were talking with Brad's article, certain pragmatic countries such as the UK and increasingly the case in New Zealand have a more liberal approach to aspects of nicotine use, but not all embracing. Example, snus remains illegal in the UK despite its undoubted, now he doesn't use this word lightly, undoubted safety and effectiveness. Bloomberg, he lazily, you can't see me moving my mouse, but he links Mark Gunther. The government, of course, arguably the people's representatives, have the greatest opportunity to rise above the various competing interests and to apply policies that can satisfy all quarters in an equitable manner. This guy, I would love to have the conversation with him because he's I can tell his intelligence. These Brits just talk better than we do.
They did invent the language.
Well, yeah, I know they did. So, bastards. So, but high tobacco taxes and excessive lobbying from everyone but consumers results in stifled, poor policy making to suit the well-financed lobbyists. Few governments around the world seem to have got the balance right, except for their checkbooks. Lastly, he should mention that certainly in the case of vaping, independent sector represents the largest part of the market with approximately 75%, but unscrupulous opponents will always portray the tobacco industry as the majority number, which I reference back to Kim's article. So the vape
I would disagree with that.
Okay.
I would disagree with that.
Well, he's probably saying global, but what do you mean?
And I would still disagree with that.
You think? I think too.
I would say that the sale, we don't want to admit it, but you have to figure in America alone, there's something like 300,000 convenience stores and other tobacco product retailers, and something like probably at this point less than 6,000 vape shops in the United States.
I was hoping you wouldn't say 3. Okay.
So,
I'd say 5. I'd say 5 or 6.
And again, I can remember when there was 11,000 vape shops in the United States.
Yeah. 2013.
But
14.
I would hazard to say that the big tobacco manufactured products far exceed by sale number alone, by the dollar figure alone, vast amount, the vast majority. I would say 75 to 80% of the market.
Right. So,
now we like to think that the open market, the guys, the vape bros.
Yeah. Are we vape bros?
You know, the people that watch our show, there's some vape bros in there. There's, are plentiful. But the actual sales don't bear that out. It is not. I mean, we're looking at something like a rough estimate $20 billion industry.
Yeah.
And if the open market was 75% of that market, you know, that would be $15 billion. I don't believe that. Not even close.
It's a good thing that you said that. I agree with you. I think it's lower. He has when we read these articles, lots of times when we have the articles, not the researches.
Yeah, the open market has never been the vast majority of the vaping industry ever in the entire history of vaping, and I've been here almost since the very beginning.
Right.
I mean, I've been vaping almost 12 years. And there's people that I know that have been vaping longer than me, but I've been here since 2010.
I think I saw one. It was 13 the other day on Twitter.
So
couldn't believe it. So at the bottom of Alan's article, you can post a comment where most of the mainstream things you can't even post a comment anymore unless you have to sign in or subscribe or other shit. So if you agree, disagree, you want to have a conversation with him, and he's on Twitter. So I'm going to link his Twitter here in a second too. So Frank Bayans, follow him. You have to. You just have to. I'm not asking. Can't see here. Alan do what?
You're talking about Alan Beard?
No, Frank earlier and Alan are the two tonight that I'm kind of pumping. I imagine just about everybody's following him anyway, but he doesn't have. Huh? What? You babbling about?
You were just talking about pumping Alan, and I'm just trying to
following Alan.
See how you're doing that since he's in England and you're here, but okay, whatever.
Following Alan on Twitter. Yeah, he's probably an old farts vaping.
Yeah. So, Chugga. You sent to us. It says, I am very proud and humbled to have the honor of working with Dr. Mara Glover, and it brings my heart joy to see her being recognized and supported at a ministerial level, as we should be in this country at every level. And then there's a link to Smoke Free 2525 or Smokescreen. And this is Tumamau I apologize. Harawira. Undoubtedly, that's a Maori name.
We've had both of these ladies on, by the way.
Multiple times. Chugga got so drunk she lost her bottle of wine. The next day she'd lost her bottle of wine. So there's a video.
Yes.
I wonder, is this in English?
I did not watch the video. I just read it.
I'm afraid. No, it's not. I apologize. This is definitely in Maori. And I'm sure that's not the actual name of the language. But anyway. Let's rub this so for ease of reading.
Fine.
All right. So it says here, a decade has passed since New Zealand adopted the smoke-free Aotearoa 2025 goal, but is the goal attainable? Smoke-free advocate Hone Harawa says the funding models to reach that goal are inequitable and leave Maori behind the rest of the country, which we already know they do. Yeah, they plan to always push the natives, the First Nations people, the Maoris, whatever you want to use, the Aboriginal peoples, always get considered last, whether not just in New Zealand but literally in every country in the world that have First Nations people. We want our people to get to that place of being smoke-free. The Smoke Free 2025 campaign aims to have less than 5% of the population smoking tobacco by 2025. In 2021, Associate Health Minister Dr. Ayesha Viral launched oh dear Lord, this thing, Wahi Core Aotearoa Maher Rutaki 2025. The Smoke Free 2025 action plan at an event in Parliament This is a historic day for the health of our people, she said then. Current figures put the total population who smoke at 9.4%, but Maori rates are above 20, totaling almost 200,000 Maori, according to the smoking statistics in New Zealand. There are 387,000 people who smoke daily. Of those, 22.3% are Maori. Some 90,000 of those are Maori women. And they're one of the communities, the indigenous peoples are one of the communities, the only community that I'm aware of, other than maybe certain Asian communities, where women smoke at higher rates than men. Tom says I did a good job, but I just skipped that. I apologize for butchering the Maori language. But 1 million people have quit smoking. Harawira says more money needs to be invested in the right areas. Funding needs to be given to groups that work with Maori and Pacifica, particularly Maori women. In 2010, while a member of parliament for this particular district, Harawira was adamant that to get a smoke-free New Zealand by 2025, there had to be significant changes in how the country dealt with smoking. But he says there is a feeling that momentum is slowing, although he can see the government is trying. The government was very proactive then, but as time has gone on, the momentum has faded. The Smoke-Free Environments and Regulated Products Act was passed 2 years ago. It aimed to make less harmful products available for smokers, and smoking rates have decreased. Today, Associate Health Minister Peeni Henare tells this news source that despite a decline in in people smoking cigarettes, there is still work to do to stop it in the Maori communities. We've seen our efforts decline in recent years, but Associate Minister of Health, Dr. Aisha Viral, is someone who wants to bring our attention back to this issue. Along with Hone Harawira, this Maori expert, Rebecca Ruhui Collins, and behavioral expert Dr. Marwa Glover are also advocates for the people. And these are wahine that Henare commends. And I'm sorry, these are words that I don't know how to say. I commend strong women. There are people putting in the work who but need more help in our community supporting this issue to benefit us all. Asked if the 2025 target year to be smoke-free in Aotearoa will be missed, Henare says we will work towards that because this is what Maori families want. We know people whose lives have been impacted by cigarettes, so we want to achieve this goal.
You know, when I see something like this, another person.
I knew Wahine was woman, but he's calling me a white man. Did you see that?
Well, do you identify?
He's as white as me.
I don't know. So I'm gonna do this because it's context. Share screen, Victor, share screen. One of the other tweets that Chugga had retweeted here from Mr. Elliott. It looks like
that video was in the article that I just skipped past it.
Right. New Zealand's tireless smoke-free campaigner and advocate for Maori women, Dr. Glover, receives a glowing commendation in this interview by Health Minister Seabuddy Peeni Henare, and says government supports and commends her work. Hopefully the health department and whoever agrees in the article. Now, remember, Dr. Glover's basically been blackballed in the past.
She got her Twitter locked up for a whole fucking year, Kevin.
Been blackballed on Twitter, and she understands and knows discrimination in her own society and community and science and research and all that other bullshit that she's actually had to put up with. So when I failed to give this on the show notes to Patrick early enough, so I apologize for that part, but this is hugely important to me. It brings almost a tear to my eye that she gets a little vindication on this without doing anything that she's not done before.
Yeah.
Nothing. She's doing what she's doing. This
is our friend, Kevin.
Doing
this is
what
somebody
she's doing.
that we've had on this show 4 times now.
She made us perfectly act like fucking church mice.
Who hangs with us and doesn't pick on us for being dummies.
Yeah.
And chuckleheads. She talks to us like we're regular folks.
Yeah.
And just because we care.
Yes.
I mean, we look like a punch. Between the two of us, we're pretty white dudes, dude. I mean, we are pretty pale skinned, and
I'm prettier than you are.
And we recognize that we are limited in our capabilities, but we are very empathic to other people's plights.
Yes.
And we like smart people, regardless of where they're from, whether they're boys or girls. We like smart people. And technically, we've had more smart women on the show than we've ever had men on the show.
Oh, by far.
By far. The smart women have outnumbered the smart men.
Probably 5 or 6 to 1.
Significantly.
It may, could, might, or possibly be.
I mean, come on. One of the people on our show that has been Eliana is now a human rights spokesperson for the
WA. Be careful. Shh. Well, she outsmarted us by saying hello. So, I mean,
science right on the screen, dude.
It ain't hard for anybody to outsmart me, but I'm good with that.
I mean, other than Charlie, and Dr. Mark
Tyndall,
those are the 2 smart dudes we've had on the show. I
well,
mean,
I beg to differ.
Hennage is smart, but he's not smart that way.
Well,
and he's just like us. He uses foul language and drinks and
Charlie doesn't like us, so that's like a bonus. Either of us.
You don't like ourselves, so that's all right.
Well, barely. Well, we were smokers once.
Just saying.
So Dr. Glover and Chugga, who works with her, if I remember correctly, directly.
They have credentials and shit, dude.
Really? And didn't Chugga just get her PhD? Was it a PhD she got?
I thought she got her master's.
Was it master's? I don't want to demean anything at all. I don't remember what it was.
I don't want to call her Dr. Chugga though. That's just
I don't care. Either way, my heart.
If she becomes a doctor, we have to refer to her by her real name.
Well, I will. My heart goes pitter patter. Pitter patter, pitter patter every time I see something like this. And then you got the health minister saying, "Hey, look at this.
Hey, this is a woman that we just blackballed a couple years ago, but now we have to praise her."
I wasn't going to say it doesn't taste good, but all I'm saying is you got what you got, and now you know why you got it. So she's not happy about the VLN cigarettes either, but anyway, there's more to do. There is more to do in her world.
Yeah. And when she was on the show, like the second time she was on the show, she quoted the studies that showed that people substitute.
Yeah. Because I had questions. And she answered them. She just answered them. She didn't give us any shit. She gave us a ride into how tobacco control kind of works. Purpose.
I just remember the day after the very first time she was on the show for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
The very next day she texted me. She said, "I will be glad to come back on your show at any time, but in the future maybe we'll just limit it to like shorter segments." And then the very next time I was like, "You can leave at any time you want, Doc." She's like, "No, I'm good." And then the time after that I was like, "I know your time is limited." She says, "No, we're having fun."
The first time was bot shit.
Yes, so that was the I mean, we're sitting here like good little boys. We're not saying bad words. We're being very very meek in our presentation. We're, not aggressive. We're, asking questions, and
I considered wearing a tie. I really, really did.
And then at the very end, we're talking about a hashtag not a bot. She's like, "Oh, I invented my own hashtag this week," and we're like, "Oh yeah, what was it?" And she said, "Bot shit," and I'm like, "Oh, she said shit."
And then
this whole time we've been good boys, and
then we loosened up a little.
is just like us.
She was so fun. She was such a blast.
Oh, I just glanced over at my Twitter feed, and people are bitching and moaning still, because as a Texan,
yep, that's what they do.
Well, not even as a Texan. Even before I was in Texas, I was a gun owner and supporter of my right to own a gun if I wanted a gun.
Yep.
And I'm still, every time I look at this damn Twitter, I'm seeing half the tweets on my feed are about people bitching about Texas that don't live in Texas. People that don't live in Texas bitching about Texas. Saying bad things. How is your governor? Blah blah blah. And the gun regulations are not established by state government. You do know that, right? Yeah. The background checks and all the stuff necessary to own a firearm are established by federal regulation. So shouldn't you be complaining about the Democrats in the Congress and the Democrats in the Senate that haven't been able to, even though they have a majority, pass the laws that you think need to be passed?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't want to get derailed into that, because that is a topic that I don't want to. I mean, I'm all for common sense regulation. Isn't that funny?
Well, it sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yeah. I'm actually on Monday renewing a license I no longer technically need, because if I travel to, I travel to, it's constitutional as of the 13th.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to renew mine because I do travel to other states, and they're reciprocal. So
some states don't reciprocate, though.
Correct, but the ones I go to do. that's
just putting that out there, so some states don't reciprocate. So California, for example, does not reciprocate.
I'll probably never get there. I can't imagine.
You don't want to go there. I've been there a couple times.
I'd go see Fig, Ed, and I think there's probably maybe 2 or 3 people that I can think of. Jay, I think's out there, if I remember correctly.
I just went to California to see Fig, and then I would see a couple musician friends that I know, and then my ass would be right back in Ohio. I wouldn't stay more than 3 days. I spent a couple hours at Fig's store. We had dinner or lunch.
Yeah.
He bought me lunch at a little bistro that was down the street from his shop that was quite good. Hung out a little bit. I bought some e-liquid, and then I drove 2 hours back to where my wife was.
Yep.
And then I was like, "Oh, we can go now."
Yeah, look, we talk about her, and then she shows up.
Yeah, I know. And we're done. Like, we just all of the articles that we had and the stuff that we didn't have. Isn't that weird? She shows up as we're leaving.
We love her anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if she was a doctor, if she had her PhD, we would have to call her doctor. And I don't want to say Dr. Chugga. I would have to say Dr. Jaffers.
Well, you're saying Dr. Caliph, right?
No, I just call him dumbass.
I'm calling him Bob. His name is Bob. Period.
Yeah.
Hiya, Bob. Me again.
I can't say Dr. Chugga. That just doesn't sound.
Well,
you have to call her Doctor. We could say Dr. Yolanda.
No.
Dr.
I would not call Dr. Glover by her first name. I will on Twitter with.
I always refer to her as Dr. Glover when she's on the show.
So there you go. And Charles, I rarely say Charles, but on Twitter I will.
No, I call him Chuck. That's a different thing, though.
Dr. Gardner.
Because he is a chucklehead, so I call him Dr. Chuck.
Right, but in my world, in my lifetime, it's always been the proper name. Now I've also
the very first time he was on our show, the very first thing he said on our show was, "I really don't like you guys." So
that doesn't matter.
He automatically
that doesn't take away his
reversed
education.
down to a Chuck.
I was actually admonished for not calling someone a doctor once because I didn't know that they were a doctor. And then I said, "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, doctor." Because I didn't know. How the fuck am I supposed to know? It doesn't say it on your work order. Dumbass.
Dr. Chuck.
When you get to the point that you have I Love Me walls and you got the lights and the candles and all that other bullshit and you don't have pictures of your kids anymore, you've gone too far. That's all. I'm just saying.
Mm.
Hey, Katy Perry's got a mouse vaping.
It's a rat. It's not a mouse.
Oh, it's a rat. Yeah, same difference.
It's even called Ratso.
Well,
that's so creative too. Ratso.
She's got a team that thought of this.
It took 3 of them to conceptualize that character.
Let's put a vape in his hand. This will be good. This will be a great visual. Oh my God. So I say July 4th. By July 4th, we're going to have a Katy Perry blitz. We're going to have a bullshit story blitz.
Uh-huh. Well, I have not covered this for 3 weeks.
Uh-oh.
But there is a pop singer that I do not know.
Okay.
Named Doja Cat.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
And Doja Cat.
Oh my God.
Was vaping.
I know, I heard.
And every week, now there's been a couple stories. I did cover one of them kind of quickly, but during the Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial, they interviewed one of the drivers, one of the chauffeurs, and he was in the car while he was giving his testimony over the Zoomy thing and vaping while he was providing testimony. Then there was a second now we mentioned that in one show, like really quickly, but every time I Googled during that event, during that week where the week after he had testified, like all of the top Google hits were Johnny Depp trial, guy vaping during the trial. Then Doja Cat was at an awards thing or some sort of thing and got caught on camera vaping backstage.
Yeah.
So then there was a couple days where that was covered. How dare she vape, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Then there was a second guy during the Johnny Depp stuff, one of his music world friends that took a couple toots during his testimony. So then for a few days that was on the thing. And then last week or the week before, Doja Cat canceled some of her shows because she had tonsil surgery. She said that she had to give up vaping after her tonsil surgery for a while.
Yeah.
And now I don't know who Doja Cat is. I'm sorry, I'm not as hip as other people. It's not apparently my type of music. She must do dance music or something.
Nope.
But there is a brand new piece on vaping, and Doja Cat is mentioned.
Yeah.
So, but this is not really about her, though.
This wouldn't have given me literally.
It just includes her. So it says Doja Cat isn't the only one paying the price for vaping. And there's a bunch of empty space because apparently they don't know how to fix their fucking layouts.
And that's good enough.
But it says last week Doja Cat announced that she was canceling all of her remaining tour dates after, and she did cancel a whole bunch because she had the Rona too last year. I do remember that. She believes was caused by vaping. She had a tonsil infection, and it was the vaping that caused the tonsil. Anyway, now the singer says she has to get a surgery to remove an abscess on her tonsil. Just get your tonsils out, you dumbass. A procedure that typically costs thousands of dollars. She's a millionaire. Who cares? I'm scared to hit it because my throat hurts so bad. She tweeted, I cried for hours. It's not worth it.
All right.
So while we're horrified for her and wishing her a speedy recovery, it turns out that Doja Cat is not just one of many Americans who will have to spend a pretty penny to deal with vaping-related health issues. According to a new study, health problems exacerbated by e-cigarettes are costing Americans an average of $15 billion a year.
Yeah, we covered that, didn't we?
I know, but it was just the fact that they decided to include Doja Cat in their nonsense.
Of course.
I'm like, who the fuck? I can't do it now because we'll get in trouble, but I'm going to have to look on YouTube for Doja Cat so I can see if I've ever heard any of her music.
Why would you do that? So I'm like 4, 5, 6 years old maybe, and I had my tonsils out, and I wasn't smoking or vaping.
I'm 50 years old and I still have my tonsils.
Well, you got to keep your brain up somehow. Yeah, all I know is I didn't vape or smoke when I was 5, or 6, or 7. Right.
I know we've covered this. At 6, I think, is when you originally admitted it. Now you changed it to 9.
Is that what it is?
Because we picked on you about being stupid.
Oh my god.
But
yeah, old
yeah. I know.
It'll be right.
I know.
I got Logan to say supervising.
Supervising?
That's
Is
what
he
he's doing.
Supervising you?
Every time he sees me, that's what he's doing now.
Supervising you.
Oh, what a cute kid.
No, I don't want to agree with that, Kevin.
I know, because he looks like me.
I know. It hurts me because if I insult you, since he looks just like you.
I know. But he does look like his daddy. He's starting to favor his daddy a little more now, finally. Took a while. But the Crowley genes are so fucking strong on that boy. I see multiple relatives. You know, I see the sister, I see her kids, I see me, you know, whatever. But anyway, I've seen Dustin.
Oh, dear God. Do you have a sister?
I do, a younger sister.
And she looks like you?
Well, no, she doesn't look like me, but her kids do.
You said the Crowley genes and your sister, and I'm like, oh, that's...
Yeah.
I have a picture of you with girl hair. You know that, right?
Just long hair, yeah. Only
I
red.
do have you.
Yeah.
I do have a picture of you with girl hair.
Yeah. I want to speak to your manager, yeah.
Yes. I have you with Karen hair.
I just put that on there like a week ago on Twitter.
Again?
I'm scared.
Because it's right here on Facebook.
Well, show it. I don't care.
I
I'm
am.
scared.
I am.
Actually, Sparkle said she'd have nightmares for weeks because she never saw that before. That's right.
I'm Kevin, and I'd like to speak to your manager.
That was up there with my friend James and Fig. That's when I touched Fig's hair one of the times I did. It was during that.
Well, I'm surprised he didn't want to touch your hair if it looked like this.
And Lindsay was there, and Austin was there, and Nick was there, and who else? Somebody else was there.
I really
Loads
want,
of people.
like, I don't like going to crowded things, Kevin.
Yeah.
I really don't like crowded things.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't like physical contact with people.
Amy was there.
But I would love like one more big vape event. Just one more.
Just with the people you like, though.
Just with the some of the names. Not even all of the people.
Not even all of them. So you don't want to see Fig or I?
I'd go. Fig would be okay.
Would you settle for Ed?
Fig always pays the bar tab, so
like So if Ed showed up, it would like replace me.
Ed would be okay because he drinks wine. You know.
All right. Okay.
He's a Pinot Noir lover.
All right.
And you know, I would love to hang out with Nick a little bit. I would love to James to be there so that I could make him cry.
Well, yeah.
Dimitri, he's okay.
I'd sing a little Barry White actually to James now.
Because you know, Dimitri and I, whenever we end up being at the same place in the past, we always end up like in some corner, like
having a fist fight,
just making fun of every. Well, no, that was the very first time. After that,
I know I'm screwed with you.
After that, we would end up in some corner, like making fun of people and telling all of the stories.
Yeah.
About those people that we know, where all the skeletons are buried.
Between the two of you, you should co-author a book. Actually.
No, him and
I know.
Bill are writing a book, and we have been promised a chapter. That's all I need. I'm just gonna. It's gonna be like. Well, I'm. You might have to fix my grammar. My grammar Nazis. As I have not been publishing a magazine for the last 2 years or 3 years.
Yeah.
My grammar is declined significantly.
We'd have to have Amanda. And Jordan. Yeah.
Well, I know where their I have skeletons on them too.
Well, I don't care about the skeletons. I'm just because they're who they are. But and Skip and a few others.
You're talking about at the party or at the event. That's a different thing. Yeah.
I'm walking down whatever street I'm on in Washington, D.C. by myself, literally, because we're being told we got to get off the property because the president wants to fly away to go to a game.
Oh, I don't even want. Yeah, I just want to be at some small hotel bar room like we used to have.
Well, yeah, but I don't know anybody that I can't see them for who they are because I don't know who they are because everybody's got some kind of weird avatar. So this blonde walks up to me and she says, "Are you Kevin Crowley?" And I'm like, "Well, that depends. Who are you?"
She hadn't been on the show at that point, I don't think.
I knew who she was, but I didn't recognize her from anybody else.
I can't remember if she'd been on the show.
She had to be a vapey person. I knew that, but I had no idea who she was. And the second she told me, I kind of laughed and said, I really didn't know who you were, you know. And I know who you are, but I didn't know who you were. And I said, "Where's Jordan?" And she said, quote, "He's lost." I'm not sure if she found him yet.
I don't know how you could get lost in Washington, in that area of Washington, D.C., because everything is literally straight lines and all of the street names are.
No. I think he was doing something with someone and they hadn't shown up yet. But anyway, later on I saw her. "Did you find him yet?" "No, not yet." Ha ha ha. And then I met them in Milwaukee for the You Don't Know Nicotine.
Yeah.
So I got to see them both. And Skip.
The bodies are very
Skip too. Oh, I'm sure you do. So yeah. So kudos to the ladies, Chugga and Dr. Glover, and Dr. Chugga and Dr. Glover, if you will. Either way.
What?
What?
The tonsils are not in your mouth at all. They're here. Wayne is talking about tonsils. Tonsils are not in the back of your throat. They're over here.
I don't know what
your adenoids and your tonsils are in here. I know this. I have a degree in human anatomy. They're not there. Here.
I was a little boy. I was young.
They do go through your mouth to get to them, but they don't cut your throat open here to get to them. But they are here.
They didn't tell me shit. They said, "We're giving you a bath, boy," and they gave me a bath. And then the next morning I woke up and my throat was sore. I don't know anything else.
Here's some ice cream.
And I did get ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
I remember waving to my parents out the window when they were leaving. They came back and got me, so, you know, that's something. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So amplify each other when you see it. Amplify.
Uh-huh.
That's my final thoughts, actually.
Oh, good.
It really is.
So, it's Friday. So we've been here 3 hours. That's enough of us. That's enough of us. But don't do stuff that's bad and do stuff that's good. So don't be like Katy Perry. Don't make vapors look bad by making like animatronic rat characters. And stay out of trouble, but have some fun. Go hug your wives or husbands. Go find your kids and make sure they're tucked in nice and snug. Enjoy the weekend because that's your time.
And we appreciate you.
You know, if you come across a smoker who wants to quit, stop and talk to them about vaping. You don't have to give them the Jehovah's Witness treatment, but talk to them. So stay out of, do all those things, and we'll be back in 7 days with more nonsense to talk about.
We're gonna keep producing it.
Yeah, because there's gonna be more lies and stuff. But I think tonight will be fun. We'll scare some people with our exit tonight. Kevin, this is Kevin. This is Kevin's favorite outro. But anyway, love you guys. We'll see you in 7 days. Don't do anything.
I love you all. I love you all, except Patrick.
Bye-bye.
We are one nation under God, and knowing that inspires us. It inspires us to look within and find that fundamental respect and care that we should have for one another.
Bring your hands up for me. Okay, good.
Check the armpits. Take your time. Look carefully.
Okay, bring them down. Okay, let's spread your legs a little bit wider. Okay. Okay, lift your penis for me, please. Okay. Testicles.
If he's uncircumcised, ask him to pull back the foreskin.
Let's turn around.
Look at the neck, back, spinal area, and buttocks.
Okay, bend forward for me, please, and spread your buttocks.
Look for anything inserted. Observe any constricting of the rectal muscles, which may indicate the inmate is straining to retain something.
Okay.
You may see a thin string, indicating something is there. If you have any suspicion, ask the inmate to squat and cough deeply, which could dislodge it. If you're still suspicious, call for a medical search. You're not authorized to make any intrusion into the inmate's body orifices.
Who's going to protect our children?
DA Edward Burke cited Wisconsin law in a report stating what happened in Suring does not meet the definition of a strip search.
Having children stripped down to their bra and underwear is not okay in Wisconsin or any other state. My youngest, he said the other day walking into school, he was shaking.
Green Bay-based school law practitioner Tony Stefik says school officials are not required to notify parents of a search.
Some people would say, well, you're in the office. You need to call me before you question my child. That right doesn't exist.
We are not subjects or slaves of those who govern. And by God's grace, we are free. And we will fight to remain free.